yesterday night? We were doing peer review. That's a great contribution of information. We were doing peer review. In the peer review, up to what part we have done? I think we are done with the peer reviewer, qualified assistant, and peer review board, and the peer review selection, right? And before that, the residual part of pet standards and all those things, definitions and all those parts we are done with. चलो quick revision करेंगे. जल्दी जल्दी बताओ. So what are the basic idea behind the peer review? What is the definition of peer review? It's a review and examination of your systems and procedure which are to be put in place as a responsibility by whom? Practicing unit to ensure the quality of assurance services envisaged by comparing it with PET standards, including AQMM. What is AQMM? Audit Quality Maturity Model. Basically, what is the purpose of AQMM? That is a self-evaluation portal where you can go and check your own evaluations whether you are good or not, right? As envisaged by any other regulatory authority for a period under the review. Then what makes your new unit? Either you are a new unit with a, existence of less than 12 months. Doesn't matter whether you have done the assurance services or not. Or you are a unit exceeding 12 months of existence but not yet provided. So that is also called a new unit. What makes you a branch reviewer? You are doing the audit of a branch of a practicing unit. So you will be called as a branch reviewer. What is your objective? To check the compliance of PET and to check your documentations which will amplify your demonstration of PET standards, right? Quality of assurance services. Next one. Is it a fault finding machine, peer review, or also a suggestion improvement? Suggestions and improvements for your quality of services. Then we have understood relating to, what do you mean by PET? Accounting standards issued by ICAI for the companies other than Companies Act. Then Ind AS and accounting standards issued under section 133 by the central government on recommendation of ICAI in consultation with NFRA. All the standards on auditing, assurance, review, related, socials, everything. Applicable reporting frameworks, required knowledge of statutes and notifications, amendments, revisions, circulars, guidance notes issued by whom? Council. What is included in your scope? What is not? Compliance, compliance, compliance. Compliance of PET, compliance of member guidelines for you, compliance of member guidelines in relation to article assistant. For you, it is fee, audits to be undertaken, and registers for engagements or assurance engagement. For article assistant, it is their attendance, work diary, and stipend payments for both article as well as audit assistants, and giving them the adequate training, then systems and procedures, and self-evaluation under AQMM. These all are under your scope. But testifying as an expert witness, not under your scope. Due diligence, not. Compilation of FS, no. Other than FS, no. Then, income tax preparer, no. Advisory in tax affairs, no. So these are covered or not covered? Not covered. Next one, how do you get selected? Under the mandatory review, you will get selected in 4 phases. That is from 1/4/22, 1/4/23, 1/4/24, 1/4/25. Now, who are already got selected 1/4/22 under? Those who are the auditors of listed entities. And from 1st April onwards, 2023 onwards, already of the listed entities and unlisted public entities whose either 500 crores or more, 500 crores or more, or 1000 crores or more. Am I correct? Or your firm is providing attestation services for 4 or more partners. 5 or more partners. Then how it is to be applicable from 1/4/24? All three, or auditor, statutory auditor of a company which has raised the funds from the public or banks or financial institutions greater than 50 crores, or statutory auditor of a body corporate including trust which has been declared as a PI, or your firm providing attestation services with 4 or more partners. And now from 1/4/2025 onwards, branch auditors of the PSU banks plus a firm having 3 or more partners. That is from 1/4/2025. That is called mandatory, where peer review board will select you to get your peer review done. And how? Second one, voluntary, where you apply. And what is the third one? Special review. Who three can refer your case? Secretary of ICA or DD, Directorate Discipline, or any other regulator. On the request of them, board may think of conducting your. It's not that board has to listen to them. Board may decide to do your peer review. I already have a certificate. Do I have to get it done? Okay, I can wait till conclusion. So you can wait till the conclusion of the particular audit or particular expiry of that peer review certificate. Next one. What is peer review board? Minimum 6, maximum 12. Who is going to be the chairman and vice chairman? Council members. Minimum 50% should be council members. Rotation of 2/3 will be on 3 years or council term, whichever is earlier. What about the remaining 1/3? They can be kept for the longer period by the council. Quorum, date, place. Quorum is 1/3 or 3, whichever is higher, with the minimum presence of chairman. If not present, then vice chairman. And what if the casual vacancy arises? Council will fill up. One meeting in every 3 months. And before conducting any meeting, inform it to whom? Council. Am I correct? I think that was it all about peer review board. And what about the peer reviewer? 2 qualifications. Member in practice having 7 years of experience in assurance engagements. A member in practice having 3 years of experience plus 10 years of industry experience. Have to undergo through a training. And you also have to sign the declaration of confidentiality to be signed with the board. And yes, who are not qualified? Pending cases, already convicted for professional misconduct or other misconduct, convicted for an offense of moral turpitude and imprisoned, and you are a peer reviewer but you have a conflict of interest with the practicing union, that you have undergone through articleship or training under any of the partner of what? And next one, you did not accept any, you accepted any assignment just 2 years before or 2 years later, right? And one more thing we have done. Yeah. Qualified assistant. How many? 1. Chartered accountant. Not disqualified under 21 and 8 of CA Act 1949. Right? Must be from reviewer's firm, either as a partner or as a paid assistant, as per the records of whom I say. And also has to sign declaration of confidentiality. His intimation is required to be given to the board and to the unit before starting the peer review, and he has no direct interface. और देखो तुम्हें fingertips पे याद है पूरा chapter. Correct? This is what I was telling you. Like, have the conceptual clarity. The things will automatically get embedded in your hand. And moreover, things we have written it with the one over bare hand, so it gets more permanent in your head. Right? Shall we start the next topic now? Now the main topics will start, everyone. What are the main topics? The main topics are relating to how the peer review takes place. That is approach and obligation or reviewer and peer review process. Now, first of all, when you do the peer review, what is the approach of a peer reviewer? Now, problem bata kya hai? In this chapter, there are so many topics like this, like objective, scope, approach. When these kind of questions comes in the examination, we are unable to bifurcate between what is the answer for objective, what is for scope, and what is for approach. See, scope, you know that what is included, what is not included. Now 100% clarified. Objective, you have an idea, 2 objectives are there, and third I made you write to enhance the trust and confidence of the users. Now here approach means what? Means what is there in your mind when you are starting which review? Peer review. Okay. एक second. What is there in your mind when you are starting a peer review? Now see, read the point number 1 in the approach, everyone. Gain and make me understand what the lawmaker is trying to tell you. Little bit complicated. If you will catch the exact angle, na, You will automatically understand what they are saying. And this is step by step. This is sequence. Approach is sequence. Read the point number 1. Gain understanding of which letter? That defines scope and nature of assurance engagement. Now, this is a little bit of tricky part where you need to understand. You are not talking about peer reviewer's engagement letter. Peer reviewer is asking the practicing unit to give all the engagement letters which you exchanged with whom? Your clients, while providing the which services? Assurance. Now my question is, how many of you know SA 200? Little bit of idea. SA 200 is initial audit engagements, where you send the audit engagement letter to a client defining your terms and condition. My question is very simple. Would you like to know the management a little bit before accepting the appointment letter? You don't want the misunderstandings at the which stage? Later stage. So for a better security, we send one audit engagement letter by the auditor to the management, defining my scope, role, responsibility and objective. If they are okay with my terms and condition, they will send it back to me as an evidence, and I'll keep it in my documentation file, so that future may we can understand, okay, I already told you this is what I'm going to do. That is what the auditor does. Now the question is, why he is after my engagement letters which I shared with my clients? Because he is checking the compliance of PET only, na? What is PET? Is this obligatory on you to send the audit engagement letter before accepting the appointment letter or not? That's what he is checking. By obtaining your engagement letters, he will get an idea how you started your audit, what you told as your role, responsibility and objective. So peer reviewer is checking your engagement letters which you sent at the time of doing the which services? Assurance survey. Did you understand the point number 1? Read the point number 2. Number of assurance engagements to be selected requires professional judgment based on what? Replies of the questionnaire and the size of what? PU. Now remember one thing. ICA is directly strict against asking the personal interview. What do they say that? Ki one chartered accountant, see, peer reviewer is also a chartered accountant. You should not expect that ki one chartered accountant going to the another chartered accountant's unit and asking the direct queries. Okay, how much fees you charge? Who are your clients? This and that. That looks unethical. That looks unprofessional as well. So what the peer reviewer does? Peer reviewer sends questionnaire to the home practicing unit. Okay, sir, these are my list of requirements I would like to know. Please fill it up and send it back to me. Once the practicing unit sends that questionnaire back to whom? Peer reviewer. On the basis of that, he selects the areas which he is going to concentrate upon when he will enter your on-site review. Did you get the point? So who is sending questionnaire to whom? Peer reviewer sending. अभी तक review start नहीं हुआ. This is called preliminary stage. Which stage? अभी तो we are just जैसे we acquire the knowledge of whose business? Client's business. Here peer reviewer is acquiring the knowledge of what? Practicing unit. By sending you a what? Questionnaire. So you will tick mark yes, no, not applicable. On the basis of that, I will understand, okay, what is your core? Are you core in GST? Are you core in assurance? Are you core in stats? And are you core in tax audit? On the basis of that, I'll select my sample size. Who am I? Peer reviewer. Did you get the point? So what is the first thing I observed on you? Your engagement letters, to understand the type of audit engagements you have undertaken. What is the second thing I did? I sent you a questionnaire with a list of questions. You will answer it, you will give it back to me. On the basis of that, I'll select the sample size of the assurance services which I'm going to examine on you. What is the third step? PU may have policies and procedures for accepting a what? Particular engagement. Then as a reviewer, what is your approach? Check compliance with such what? Policies and procedures. Please tell me what is SA 220? क्वालिटी कंट्रोल. उसमें हम लोग एक वर्ड यूज करते हैं QCPP, क्वालिटी कंट्रोल इन योर पॉलिसीज एंड प्रोसीजर्स. नाउ इफ यू ऑल रिमेंबर, इफ यू हैव डन SA 220, हाउ यू come to know that कि the policies and procedures in your practicing unit is good or enough as per ICA? देखो ऐसे बोलता है इंटीग्रिटी, ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, कोड ऑफ एथिक्स, एथिकल प्रिंसिपल, एवरीथिंग ऐसे सेज. You say that I apply. You as a practicing unit say I apply everything whatever the ICA says. Remember, you can't judge your own qualities. You need to hire a EQCR, Engagement Quality Control Reviewer. What is the full form? जैसे मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ 220 क्या बोलता है? I want to know कि whether my firm's QCPP are good or not. So remember, you will hire one EQCR, Engagement Quality Control Reviewer. You will show your QCPPs to him. If he or she makes a judgment on your QCPP, Rohit, if I would have been at your place, I would have also adopted the same QCPP. That makes that your QCPP are good. Are you getting the point? Now, peer reviewer is sitting in front of me. He is saying that, sir, do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do this? Do you do that? I said yes, 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 yes. Now, how he will confirm whether I actually do it or not? By checking my what? Documentation. Acha, he asked me, do you send audit engagement letter? I said yes. How he will check? Document. Did you check your disqualification before accepting the appointment letter? I said yes. He will see my what? Documentation. Did you obtain WRL on the situations when the normal evidence was not available? I said yes. He will check my WRLs. So read the point number 3 again. PU may have some policies and procedures for accepting the particular engagement. So I told him, sir, whenever any client gives me any assignment, this is my checklist. I do follow it. So he said, Pakka you follow it? I said yes, I follow it. That's why he's what now doing what? Checking my compliance with such P and P, so that this practicing unit is not telling a lie. Tell me the 3 things what the peer reviewer is doing to me. Approach number 1, he will obtain all my engagement letters. Approach number 2, he will send me a questionnaire on the basis of which he will select the services on which he would like to do a peer review. Approach number 3, he will ask me the list of my PPs, policies and procedure, and check whether I am complying with them or not. Did you understand step by step? And what is the 4th step? Reviewer may follow the combination of what? Acha, now it's the time for you to tell me, what do we do when we go to the client's place? Same thing. Compliance procedures and substantive. Can anybody tell me what is the meaning between the two? Compliance procedures होता है TOC, test of controls, giving the fair chance to the client to let me understand that his controls are good. But if the TOC results comes bad, we will shift our focus from TOC to TOD. What is TOD? Test of details. That is called substantive procedure. So you never start your audit with substantive procedure. You first start with compliance, then shift to what? Substantive. Same thing peer reviewer also will do. He will not directly come and jump on to my documentation. He will first check my office administration, staff supervision, independence, quality assurance standards. After that, he will check my what? Documentation. So like we do at the client's place, first compliance and then what? Substantive. Peer reviewer also will first adopt my compliance and then he will do on me substantive. Read the point number 4 again. Reviewer may follow a combination of 2 things. What are the 2 things? Compliance and what? Substantive procedures throughout the what? Process. So first he will check my compliance and then he will do my substantive. Tell me the 4 approaches. He first selected my engagement letters to understand the nature of audit engagements I have undertaken. Then he sent me a questionnaire to understand those services on which he would like to conduct a review. Then third, he asked me my PPs and checking the compliance of my PPs. And then fourth, he is doing a combination of what? Compliance and substantive procedures on me to understand the same way like how we do at the whose place? Client's place. Then what is the 4th one? Now finally he is going to evaluate my records. It means now he finally testing my what? Documentations. मेरे working papers पूछेगा. And what he will see, did I find any kind of what? Significant issues. When I was doing the audit of my clients, matters, problems arose during the engagement, whether they have been properly what? Considered, resolved and documented. Acha, what do you do when you find overvaluation of inventory in the client stock? Just a simple question. You were doing the inventory audit of your client. You found out that it is overvalued. Generally, what do we do? Cost or NRV, whichever is lower. His cost was 300 crores, NRV was 280 crores. Am I correct? But he's shown it at 300 crores. Tell me, is it compliance of AS2 or non-compliance? Is it a significant issue? Yes. Your gross profit is overvalued by what? 20 crores. Directly impacts your net profit overvalued by 20 crores. That is a clear-cut fraud of window dressing. Is this a significant finding? You saw it, how you responded to it, how you resolved it, and did you make a proper documentation for the same or not? He's checking via my documentations. Right? How many significant findings I got? How did I consider it? How did I resolve it? And how did I document it? By checking whose documentation? PU's documentation. Did you understand the point number 1? What is the point number 2? He is also checking my what? SAAEs and what? Reasonableness of conclusion. Okay, fair enough. Can anybody explain me what is the meaning of this point? Because my work is to let you know each and every word का meaning so that it should go inside your head. Please tell me why he is checking my evidences and what is checking in that. अच्छा ये बताओ sufficient and appropriate का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the meaning of that? My audit evidences collected by me should be quantity wise sufficient, quality wise appropriate, relevance होने चाहिए, reasonable होने चाहिए. My question is very simple. Client had 1 lakh purchase invoices. How many? But when I'm seeing your file, you collected only 2 invoices out of it. Is 2 an appropriate sample size out of 1 lakh or inappropriate? So he's checking what? My evidences so that he can test my what? Reasonableness. On the basis of what I have drawn my opinions and conclusions. So tell me, what is checking in A? Significant findings, how I considered, how I resolved, and how I documented. Then he is checking my evidences to check the reasonableness, how I collected and drawn what? Conclusion. What is the third thing he is doing? Now, not significant findings, now significant decisions. I took my professional judgment and resolution of my documented. How did I resolve it? So point A में in these 3 points are connected with the documentation only. So I told you now what is a major core thing happens in the PU peer review is the documentation. Documentation में what are the 3 things he is checking? Significant findings, considered, resolved, documented. What is the third thing? Significant decisions I took, professional judgments I took, and how I resolved my documented significant findings. What is the second thing he is asking? My evidences to check what? Reasonableness of collecting it. So how I expressed my conclusions and opinion. Now tell me, what is the approach? Step number 1. अपन करेंगे सर्कल में. Step number 1, engagement letters. Step number 2, questionnaire. Step number 3, policies and procedures. Step number 4, combination of compliance, and step number 5, documentation. In the documentation 3, significant findings and significant decisions. And center में क्या था? Evidence collection and reasonability for the same. Right? These all 3 comes under what? Document. This is called approach of a which reviewer? Peer review. This is not a process of peer review. This is just an approach. Okay, this is what I have to do. As a peer reviewer, because you never know in future, you can be a practicing unit, you can be a peer reviewer also. Am I correct or not? So you should know both the things. What you have to show as a practicing unit and what you have to see as a what? Peer reviewer. So you should know both the angles. Right? Next point. Obligation of what? Practicing you. Okay, when he will do all those things, what is your obligation? What is the client's obligation when we do the audit? What do you expect from client? Access to the information, access to the books of accounts. whatever the information I'm asking, he should give me. Do we have 143 for that? Same way, what the peer reviewer is expecting from you? Same thing. So what is my obligation? To give him a limited access or overall access? Whatever the information he's asking, I have to provide him. Ensure that you should maintain the confidentiality. Simple. So what is my obligation? Produce or allow access to my records, documents, and what? Registers maintained by the PU. Obligation number 2, provide him explanation and further particulars and information. And what is my obligation number 3? All assistant. I'll tell my staff also, whatever the peer review sir is looking for, just give him whatever the information they are asking. Assistance. And what is the fourth obligation? If information not in a which form? अच्छा प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है? You go to Tamil Nadu side, Chennai side. There the most of the practicing units maintain their records in Tamil language. And I'm a peer reviewer from North India. अब मेरे लिए तो alien है. For me, तो Telugu is also alien. Even though it's been 10 years, I'm located in Hyderabad. 2-3 words I can, but I don't know how to read the Telugu, na? So what will I do? His documentations are in Tamil, and I am from North India. For me, it is an alien document or not? What will be his obligation? To transcript all those documentation in local language to what? English language, and provide me properly. That is also the obligation of whom? You. So read the point number 4 now. If information is not in legible form, legible means not in readable form, so PU will translate it to what? And PU shall be responsible and accountable for accuracy and truthfulness of translation. So problem is now I have to completely believe on PU what he is translating it in English. Mananga, what is these? So know that this means I'm saying everything is true and fair. So I have to believe him, whatever he is saying. So tell me the 4 obligations of PU. Allow access, full assistance, and provide explanation and information. And 4th may, if the information is not in legible form, translate it into comfortable language of Hindi or English, and he will be held responsible and accountable for everything what he is translating to me for its truthfulness and faithfulness. Is it clear to all of you? That is obligation of whom? Then what is the next one? Obligation of what? Reviewer. So now what is my obligation as a peer reviewer? The reviewer shall not take PU client's file. He can only check my documentations. He can't take the extracts of my documentation. Because my documentation contains whose info? That is sensitive, confidential. So I will allow you to have an access. But sorry boss, I will not allow you to take what? Extract. That was my property, is my property, will be my property. You come, check, turn around, po. Correct? Are you understanding everything? Okay, next point. Or what? Records examined by me. Neither you have any right to take my files or my records. That is the obligation of what? Reviewer. Second thing, complete the review in a which time? अब मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ प्रॉब्लम क्या होगी. Earlier it used to be a 90 days peer review का concept. How many days? Right from the day you selected till the conclusion of by giving a peer review certificate, total time period was cut short to 20 days now. How many days? So अभी new prescribed time period is what? 20. अरे सर new unit का तो 7 days है. From selection till completion, total how many days? 7 days. So these are the new processes have come, and submit the report to whom? Board. And reviewer shall document all his what? Working papers, and submit a copy of his working papers also to the whom? Board, if called for by the board within 18 months of submission of what? What does that say? Please read the point carefully and make me understand. We also document, we preserve it for how many years? He has to preserve it at least for what? Because at any point of time during those 18 months, peer review board may ask your supporting documentations. How did you say that this PU is modified? Because when you give the negative, I told you na, duty 143 subsection 4. Duty to give the reasons in case of which report? Is he giving modified certificate to me? So peer review board has every right to ask him what? Supporting documents on the basis of which he is giving modified report on me. Understood? It's same way. I'm doing the audit of my client, he is doing the audit on me. That's why I told you and use one word, audit of auditors. What is this called? Simple. You can call peer review as audit of auditors also. So tell me my 4 obligations and his 3 obligations. Access, assistance, info and explanation. What are the 3 words? Access, assistance, information and explanation. And if the information is not in legible form, translate. Will be held responsible, accountable for its truthness and accuracy. Am I correct? Okay, what is his obligation? He cannot take my extracts. He cannot take the extracts of my records. Second, he has to complete the peer review within what? Authorized, prescribed time period. And he should maintain the working papers and may be asked by the peer review board. He has to keep it till 18 months from the date of issuing the what? Peer review report. Is it clear? So for the next 18 months, you have to preserve it. Okay. Now, up to this point, it was normal topic where we understood what is the approach. Everything we understood. First of all, let me tell you one thing. For you, though, this chapter is completely new. Am I correct? So for you, I have to first let you know how peer review used to happen. Actually, peer review ka, if we'll carefully analyze the word called peer, in this only 4 stages are given. Reviewer will first do planning. P stands for what? Then he will get empanelment. What is E? Then he will execute the what? Peer review. And finally he will report. This is how we used to do. Because हमारे time पे these 4 stages used to be there. This is how we used to learn. You know ना, some क्या बोलते हैं memory technique. This used to be our which technique? And they have now changed the whole process of peer review. That's why there's no longer memory technique now. N number of points are there. Almost ranging from 17 to 18 points. How many points? Problem is confusion. One communicating to another, another communicating to him. He is calling him, he is calling him. The khichdi kind of thing is there. Ours case mein peer review process was very simple. In yours case mein they made the selection simple, but they made the process little bit khichdi types. So now you have to be 100% be in the class and understand the sequence, how the peer review starts and where it ends. What is our next topic? Peer review का process. और ब्रैकेट में लिख लो बड़ा बड़ा लिखा हुआ है amendment. It's fully amended now. Procedure for initiating the peer review. How it happens. Read the point number 1. PUs which desire to get what? What does that mean? We are talking about which one? Voluntary. Which desires to get what? Reviewed. Shall make application for peer review in ACQ. Form number 1. मतलब क्या? Listen to this point now carefully. When you are getting selected, peer reviewer will send you the questionnaire. You will fill it up as a practicing unit. You will send it to home. But here to you are not selected, na. So peer reviewer will send you the questionnaire or you voluntarily is applying. That is called ACQ, right? Application cum questionnaire. ACQ. What is ACQ? Application cum question. Form number 1. So this point is sorted now. This is voluntary peer review. So tell me how voluntary peer review takes place. You wanted to get it reviewed. You will download the ACQ in form number 1. You yourself only answer the queries and send it to home board. He said, this is my thing and I want to get what? Reviewed. Point number 1 is completely dedicated to which review? Voluntary peer review. Is it clear to all of you? 100%. This is over here. Now let's talk about what? Mandatory. Read the point. In case peer review is what? By the home board, ACQ in form number should be submitted by PU on the request of what? Peer review board secretary. Matlab, this is a stretch of the point number 1 only. So you made an application, I want to get reviewed, peer review board selected you, and now peer review board is saying, then if you want to get reviewed, please send us what? ACQ in form number 1. So point number 1 and 2 are connected with each other, just an extension of point number 1. Now, next. Application mentioned above received by the board shall be what? Duly numbered. मतलब application के ऊपर number होना चाहिए. Like you pay the fees. Do you get a receipt in return? उसके ऊपर serial number होता है. Same way your application should be serially numbered. Tell me the 3 rules. You want to get what? Voluntarily reviewed. You applied to whom? Peer review board. You will send what? I'm not saying you sent. You will send ACQ in form number 1. Peer review board selected you for peer review. Now it is going to request you to send what? ACQ in form number 1. And third way, the application which you are making to the peer review board should be serially numbered. 1, 2, 3. Sorted 100%. All 3 are still connected with what? Voluntary. Now, on receipt of what? Said application come what? Questionnaire. अब यहां से होता है main process starts. Now, this process is equally applicable to mandatory as well as what? Voluntary. Peer review will take place in the same way. Either you ask voluntarily or you ask what? It means imagine if you are getting selected by the peer review board, first 3 points will not come. Why? You are applying or getting selected. तब तो अपन सिंपल क्या लिखेंगे? Peer review board will send one letter to the home practicing unit कि you have been selected for a what? Peer review. After that directly you will start with the point number 4. But if it is voluntary, you have to first add what? 3 points and then you will start with the point number 4. So from point number 4 onwards, let it be voluntary review. Process will remain same. Let me tell you what is the process. Now, peer review selected you either on its own or voluntary basis. They will send you 3 peer reviewers ka choice. Mr. Peer Reviewer A, Mr. Peer Reviewer B, Mr. Peer Reviewer C. You tell me from whom you want to get what? Review. Blunder number 1. You're giving a choice to the whom? Practicing unit to select any of the peer reviewer. Read the point number 4, please. On receipt of what? Said application come questionnaire, names of 3 reviewers shall be recommended by board to the whom? Within what? 3 working days. Your application is selected. Within the 3 working days, they will intimate you the 3 names of what? Reviewer, out of which you have to tell us what? 1. Now, PU shall select 1 out of what? 3 reviewers and intimate the board within what? 1 working day of the receipt of name. Now, here comes the time period. First, who is intimating whom? Board is intimating to the PU, giving within 3 working days from the date your application has been selected, giving the name of what? 3 reviewers to select 1 of them. Now, you have how many days? Within 1 working day, you have to intimate to the board that this is Mr. B I have selected and I want to get reviewed by B. Tell me the 5 steps. Voluntary as well as mandatory. Sir, first voluntary. I applied to whom? Peer review board. Please select me for review. And I know that I have to send you the ECQ. Peer review intimated me that you have been selected. Congratulations. Please send us what? ACQ in form number 1. And my application must be what? Serially numbered. Now point number 4. After being selected within 3 working days, board will send you the list of 3 reviewers out of which you have to select 1. You selected the 1 and intimated to whom? Board. This is a person from which I want to get audited within 1 working day. Form number 1 you already know. Form number 1 is ACQ. Second form क्या है? DOC. Declaration of Confidentiality. The projector is troubling. क्या? यही बंद हो गया सर, कंप्यूटर बंद हो गया। कंप्यूटर इज ऑफ। अरे यार पूरा। हम्म। सर कंप्यूटर इज ऑफ, कंप्यूटर इज नॉट ऑन, हाउ इट विल, दिस वायर इज कनेक्टेड विद कंप्यूटर ना। वेट। फाइन। ओके, अप टू 5 पॉइंट्स, कोई डाउट? 100% clarity, right? Three. Okay, what are the time periods? 3 days and 1 day so far. Form numbers only one. Am I correct? Voluntary and mandatory both we have started together. From the which point onwards your mandatory starts? Fourth. And first 3 points are connected with what? Voluntary. 100% clarity hai? Okay. That's why I'm going little bit slow by slow, one by one word, so that it will be threaded inside your head. Now read the point number 6 again. Board. Now, you were given away how many choices? 3. You selected 1. So board also has to tell that one na ki you got what selected and be ready, right? So that is what this point. Board shall appoint a what peer reviewer so selected by the whom in accordance with these guidelines. So now board is intimating to whom? Peer reviewer ki boss you got what selected by the practicing unit. They want to get it reviewed by you. 6 points sorted. Now point number 7. Board shall intimate the reviewer so selected to submit a DOC. I think you got clarified now. Yesterday you asked, sir, whether document of confidentiality to be given when you become a peer reviewer or to be given on peer review basis, case to case basis. Answer is case to case. Did I tell you the same thing? So you are filing form number 2 now. Who is filing? अभी फाइलिंग नहीं हुआ, अभी तो peer review board is telling to whom? Reviewer, please send me the DOC in form number 2 to PU within how many days? अब प्रॉब्लम क्या है, यहाँ पे वर्किंग डेज में प्रॉब्लम आती है, वर्किंग डेज में प्रॉब्लम आती है 3122. यू हैव टू रिमेंबर व्हाट इज दैट, व्हाट वाज 3? Intimation what? By peer review board to the practicing unit ki make a choice. One made a choice. One is made a choice by PU to the board. Now board is telling to the reviewer ki bhai you have only what? 2 working days. Please sign DOC in form number 2 and file it with the PU. Obviously you need to file one copy with whom? Board. Form number क्या है? 2. How many days? 2 working days. From the receipt of what? Choice of the name of reviewer. From the what? These 2 days will start from when? When peer review board intimated you that you have been what? Selected. Now boss, you have how many days? 2 days. Send one copy of document of confidentiality to the practicing unit within 2 working days. Is it clear? अब मेरे को पूरा प्रोसेस बताओ, अभी तो खिचड़ी स्टार्ट हुई है. It started. Point number 1. Voluntary. Second, ACQ 1 will be asked. You selected. Third, serially numbered. From fourth, tell me from fourth. PRB telling to PU, these are the 3 reviewers within 3 days. You make a choice of one and let us know within 1 day. We intimated the so selected reviewer that you have been chosen by the home practicing unit. Please give the DOC in form number 2 within 2 days. Am I correct? Now, next point. PU shall also provide. PU shall also ये क्या है यार? PU shall also provide a copy of application cum questionnaire in form number 1 submitted to the board to the reviewer within 2 working days of appointment of reviewer. अब बताओ क्या हुआ यहाँ पे? Now, please tell me whether the AOC application come questionnaire ACQ was already filed with board or not. So, do the peer reviewer has to duplicate it by sending you again and get the again, or from the board it can get it? Who can get it? Reviewer. So, what he is doing in the point number 8? PU copy. Matlab now he is not asking the board. He is asking directly from what? Board might have sent you some ACQ. Please give me the copy of that. PU shall also provide a copy of what? Application come questionnaire. To whom? एक second यार. In form number 1 submitted to board to the reviewer within of appointment of reviewer. So now my question is 3122 is what? 3 working days within which the peer review board is sending the 3 names of reviewer to be selected. 1 working day is the time for the practicing unit to select and intimate to the board. 2 working days is the from the date of being intimated by the peer review board to the peer reviewer that you have been selected. Within 2 working days, you have to sign the declaration of. And once you got selected within 2 working days only, the practicing unit has to send you the copy of what? ACQ in form number 1. To whom? To the peer reviewer, so that he can select his sample size. So 3122. Form number is 1 and 2. What is form number 1 for? ACQ. Form number 2 is for. Don't worry, मैं जब तुम्हें लिखवाऊंगा ना arrows डाल के, I will make you require. Right now this is happening. This is it will make a sequence in your head. यहाँ पे तो point wise लिखा हुआ है. We'll write arrow wise. तो up to 8 point, any doubt? Anybody in the class can tell me all 8. अभी तो बहुत है. Things are waiting for you. Your Atma definitely today will meet with Paramatma. For sure. अब बताओ 8 points. Try. No problem, sir. ACQ you are not sending now. First you are making a voluntary application to whom? Board, which will ask ACQ1 from you once you got selected. तो पहले आप application डाल रहे हो. Second point, you got selected. Board will ask you ACQ in form number 1. You filed it and your application should be serial number. 3 points are over. Now from 4th onwards, voluntary and mandatory will start. Now from here you start. Name will be selected later on. Board will send you the 3 choices of the reviewers. If the PU selected, not the name selected. If the PU selected, 3 working days में 3 names, they will send it to you. You have to make a choice within. Okay, then 5th point. Okay, 5th point is over. Within 1 working days, you have given the choice. Okay. That you have been and ask him to file declaration of confidentiality in form number 2 with the practicing unit. So 3, 1 and 2 is over. Now what is the responsibility of the practicing unit? To send the ACQ1 form number which they have already filed with the peer review board to the peer reviewer within 2 working days from the date on which he got selected. Okay, now 8th point. Sorry. 8th point. अच्छा यही था 8th point, sorry. Okay, 8 points are over. Now main things are going to start. Summary likhi hui hai, we already know. We don't need the summary. Now let's start with the main point. What is the main points now? Peer review procedure to be 1 is ACQ, 2 is DOC. Okay, you read it. Point 1 and point 2. Okay, you read it. Read it first. In case peer review is initiated by the board, application form come questionnaire in form number should be submitted by PU on the request of secretary. It means they are trying to tell you that your ACQ is equally applicable for your voluntary application. इसलिए तो इसे अच्छा मेरे को ये बताओ इसका ACQ का फुल फॉर्म बताओ ना. What does that mean? It is an application come questionnaire. It serves your two purpose. Did you get the point? Application come questionnaire. So application be form number one. Questionnaire is also what? Form number one. But first you are sending what? Form number one in the form of application. Then you are sending what? Form number one in the form of questionnaire. Are you getting the point? First you will only apply, na? Directly you will not send questionnaire. Are you getting the point? So then if the peer review board has selected you, it will ask you to send what? Questionnaire. So form number one, did you understand? Now you understood, sir? Perfectly done. Okay, up to 8 point कोई doubt है? Sure. हाँ जी. In case of mandatory peer review board first selects you. Right or not? And then practicing unit will get either a questionnaire from peer review board or will get a questionnaire from the peer reviewer. Then in that case, you will get it because you got selected later on. Here you are voluntarily applying, so you know that कि on what basis the peer review board will select you. क्योंकि अच्छा क्वेश्चनर होता क्या है बेसिकली तुम्हें क्या लगता है व्हाट विल बी देयर इन क्वेश्चनर ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड इट नो प्रॉब्लम व्हाट वुड बी देयर इन क्वेश्चनर I'll tell you number of the partners in my firm, number of locations and branches I have, how much staff is working, what is the fees I am charging, what audits I have taken, what assurance services I am providing. Are you getting the point? And how much GST I pay. This is मेरा तो वो है ना मेरे को पता है वो क्वेश्चन में this information you give. Now they will see are you a Pidda player or a Chinna player. On the basis of that, they will select you for a what? Let's say, for example, I'm giving the questionnaire. I want to get peer reviewed, but you have not done any kind of assurance services. That's why they filtered like new unit. They won't select you as a which unit. Acha, tell me, what is new unit? Less than 12 months, irrespective of the fact whether you gave assurance services or not. Or more than 12 months if you have not given the. So why they will select you? India में 40,000 plus firms है. Do you think that every voluntarily person who is making an application they will keep on selecting you? No. On the basis of questionnaire only and application only they select you. That's the reason for both the things they made the one single form. Application come what? Questionnaire. You give me the choice why should I select you? On the basis of your information provided only I will what? Select you. So it serves the two purpose. Application as well as questionnaire. 100% clarity, sir? Everyone? हाँ जी. ACQ is submitted by PU to the board. अच्छा, DOC you are asking. Declaration of? See, remember, a declaration of confidentiality, first so you have already filed in the beginning with the board. I'm a peer reviewer. I take an oath that whatever the peer reviews I will do, I will always follow my confidentially. For them, you need not send it again and again. But for the practicing unit, which you are doing the peer review, are you going to get one in one, second in another year, third, like this? For practicing unit on case-to-case basis. So one declaration of solvency, one declaration of confidence. Already you submitted with whom? Board. When you became a what? Peer reviewer. No need to send it to the board again. Board to knows that you are independent. You are going to maintain what? Confidential. Who doesn't know? Who needs assurance? On case-to-case basis. Understood, sir? Anybody else? No problem. That is what I was telling you. Have some these kind of doubts and ask it. You know, now that's a very genuine doubt. They may ask you in the examination. Do they have to send the copy one to the board and one to the PU every time? No. To the PU, every PU which is being selected, but to the board impliedly you might have already given, क्योंकि हमने already qualification of becoming a peer reviewer में there was one point. What is that point? So that तो you have already filed in the beginning, na? So you need not file it what? Again and again. But who does not know you? That's why you need to give them the assurance. Don't worry, boss. I will maintain confidentiality for your papers. Is it clear? Now tell me 8 steps. Cheppandi amma. You're writing a lot. Tell me 8 points. Tell me even try to. I hope I'm not using that Hindi now. That much Hindi. Comfortable? Tell me all the 8 points. It's okay. My exam time right now, question came. Tell me the 8 points. Sir, question is in writing na. You're asking oral. Have some confidence. Interview के question when they will ask you introduce yourself, you say, no sir, I'll write it. So tell me na. Have some spoken English as well. Tell me. Tell me wrong also, it's fine. Just tell me. Anybody voluntarily? Last में Rohit, right? Rohit, tell me all 8 points. Application should be serially numbered. By fifth point. And what is the direction peer review board is giving to the peer reviewer? Submit DOC in form number 2. And last point. Last point. Practicing unit will give you the copy of what? ACQ, which it already submitted with whom? Board. Within how many? Now you understood how it initiated. Am I correct? So planning and panelment, both the stages are over. Now what is the next stage on? Read the next one. Peer review procedure to be followed by whom? Peer reviewer. Now read this point number 1. Before commencement, a reviewer shall ensure that DOC is furnished to PU and acknowledgement of the receipt is obtained by him. So boss, I gave you what? DOC. Please send me the acknowledgement that you have received my what? DOC. So that I can start my what? Peer review. Okay, everything initiated shall be done properly. What is the next point? On receiving what? ACQ in form number 1 from reviewer shall initiate the peer review by intimating to whom? PU of what? Not yet decided. Proposed. Matlab, what do you mean by proposed? Is he telling you the dates on which I'm going to come, or he is telling you the idea? Yeah, I may think of coming into the month of what? This May or in the next 10 days. Are you comfortable? So I told you now everything happens with the what? Mutual consent. So proposed visit and proposed samples selected. Why proposed samples? You all know that. What is the rule of SA 530? Audit sampling. What you selected in the beginning. Can your sample size may increase or decrease when you actually enter the client's place? Same is the case with the peer review. Am I correct? He selected your sample on the basis of what? ACQ1. Right on ACQ form number 1. But when he will actually enter your visit and your practicing unit, whether he may come across so many unexpected things or not. So he may increase or decrease. That's why proposed visit and proposed sample. Selected to be kept ready by whom? मतलब वो पहले ही बता दे रहा है कि these are the things I'm going to verify. Proposedly, please get it ready. And proposed samples selected are to be what? Intimated by reviewer in form number 5 prescribed by the board. अब बताओ, what did you learn in point number 1 and 2? First of all, when I filed the declaration of confidentiality with you, boss, please give me my acknowledgement. Second, before starting the actual on-site peer review, I'll send you two things. One is proposed timings and proposed sample in form number 5. And proposed sample, why do we call it? I can change it when I will actually do the on-site visit. Am I correct or not? And please get ready with these samples when I am going to visit your practicing unit. Point number 1 and 2 is very simple. Point number 3, form number you have to remember. What is the form number for sample? 5. Reviewer may seek further or additional clarification in form number 6. From whom? Practicing unit, which it shall provide to the reviewer within what? Right now, you have not come face to face. Which information a reviewer is having about you? Only on the basis of ACQ. Suppose I need more. Can I ask additional information? Who? Reviewer. From whom? And PU shall provide me within 1 working day. So form number 1256. ACQ 1, DOC 2, proposed sample 5, additional information 6. 100% sorted. Now, reviewer shall within what? 2 working days of receiving that information from whom? PU. Select assurance services engagements that he would like to review and intimate to PU and board in form number 5. What does that mean? They are still talking about samples only. It's just that they should have written this point earlier, but now they are telling you now. Did I select the proposed sample? What do you mean by proposed sample? List of those assurance services engagements which I would like to visit. So when you selected it, send one copy. You already sent that copy to whom? Send one copy to whom? Board also. Form number will remain same. There also form 5. Here also form 5. Is it clear? Next point. Reviewer shall plan now. Main point. He shall plan what? On-site review. Visit for what? Initial meeting in consultation with what? Right. So when you are comfortable, on that day I will come and meet you for initial meeting. Reviewer shall give PU at least 2 working days to take ready necessary records of what? Selected assurance services. It is again connected with form number 5. Did I give you the form number 5? What was form number 5? Samples. So I'm offering you how many days? 2 days to get it ready. And I'm calling you, sir, when we can start the on-site review. I would like to meet you, initial meetings and all those things with a mutual consent. You are not going, you are asking. You are not telling, you are what? Asking. So far, not that much worthy information in the first 5 points, right? Now, reviewer and PU shall what? Mutually cooperate and ensure that entire review process is completed within. Now question arises, total 90 has been reduced to what? 20. This 20 will start from the date when you were selected or when you applied voluntarily. This is total, not only on-site. On-site is only 6 to 7 working days. Total process must be completed within 20. From when? From the date of receipt of application from PU for being what? Peer reviewed, or from the date of notifying whom? PU about its selection for review as a case में. मतलब this is voluntary, this is mandatory. Clear है? Whether it is voluntary or mandatory, process time will remain same. That's why he is giving you only 2 days to arrange the samples or to arrange the documentation. So tell me time periods now. 3, 1, 2, 2. What was 3? Within 3 days, board is intimating to PU. These are the three reviewers. PU intimating to the board within 1 day, I want to get it reviewed by this reviewer. 2 days में peer reviewer will send it to the board name PU at DOC in form number 2. And within those 2 days only, the PU is giving ACQ1 का copy to whom? Reviewer. अब बताओ next क्या हुआ उसके बाद? I sent a DOC. I need what? Acknowledgement. Second point में what did I say? कि भाई you have given me the ACQ na. On the basis of that, this are my proposed timings and these are my proposed samples, and I'm giving you 2 working days to get it managed with that time, with the data which I'm looking for. Then reviewer may seek additional information from you within what? 1 working day. You have to give it within 1 working day, and reviewer shall within 2 working days of receiving that information select the assurance services engagement that he would like to review and intimate to whom? PU, and board in form number 5. Okay, now what is happening in the step number 5 now? You will plan your which review? In mutual discussion with PU. Am I correct? Next one, for which purpose? For initial meetings. And next one is for at least 2 working days to keep the ये document वाला time we already know. Reviewer and PU shall mutually cooperate and ensure that the total should complete within 20 days, either from the date you voluntarily applied or from the date PRB intimated you, either voluntary or mandatory. Up to this point, everything sorted. Okay, now read the 7th point. In case peer reviewer of a what? Now you know the definition, why we did it in the beginning. So now you don't have to understand or apply anything. If it is a new reviewer and practicing unit shall mutually cooperate and ensure that the entire process must be completed within 7 working days. So 24 other than new, 7 for new. New में हो गई क्या? Any assurance or no assurances? May be there, but it is very small firm, so that many clients might not be there. So that's why they are giving you the maximum how much time? 7 times. Are you understanding the logic also? Next one. Now comes the which stage? Execution stage. अब बताओ execution stage से पहले you want to execute your breakfast, or execution stage should be complete and then you would like to execute your breakfast? Before execution you would like to execute your breakfast? Amma to touching her stomach, sir. She's not saying, you know what she's saying? She's not saying, sir, I want a breakfast. Sir, understand? Breakfast kavali. Because to consume something, first you have to consume something. Am I correct or not? So like, come karo break le lo, come back by 10. Let's consume this execution process. And after execution, then I'll make you write this process, then we'll proceed with the residual part. But are you understanding this chapter properly? Word to word with clarification? Perfect. Take a break, come back by 10, please. Okay, shall we start now? So, enough consume to consume enough, huh? Right? Shall we start? Okay. So, first of all, though, please tell me what we have done before leaving. Right from the beginning. So, let me ask you in this way. What is form number 1? ACQ. What is form number 2? Then what is 5? Samples. Proposed samples. Then what is 6? Additional. 3 working days. Peer review board within 3 working days intimating to the PU that there are 3 reviewers among whom you have to select 1. Then what do you mean by 1 working day? Intimate the peer review board within 1 working day. 2 working days? Declaration of confidentiality and PU sending the copy of ACQ to the peer reviewer within 1 working days. Right? 2 working days. What is the total time period of doing the peer review? Starts from Application made or you were intimated by the peer review board, whichever the case may be. Total has to be done within. What about I'm a new unit? 7 working days. Okay. Can I increase or decrease my sample at the later stage? How you will decide the on-site review? By mutually discussing it with whom? Practicing unit. So you will tell the timings or proposed timings. Sample or proposed samples. I may call additional information as well. Is it clear? Okay, fair enough. So, done. Okay. So, we know the time periods, we know the form numbers, and we know the procedures so far what we have learned. Now, the main stage has come, that is called which stage? Execution stage. Now, in the execution stage, what is the first thing you have to do is on-site review. Which review? You already discussed now, right? On-site review. The on-site review should not extend beyond what? 6 working. This was earlier also same. Earlier 7 days was there, but now 7 days has been reduced to what? 6 working. Matlab they wanted to bring a change, they brought it just by reducing 1 hour. But major change came in the total completion time period. 90 days has been reduced to 20 days. Okay? Why I am telling you little bit so that you will get an idea that what you are doing is something new. Up to 3 to 4 months back, we used to get peer reviewed in a different way, but now we are getting peer reviewed in a different way. So you should know your recent developments. Okay, what was there and what is there. Obviously, for the exam, you should be concentrating on what is there, but you should have some little bit of info because I already told you. I say keeps on asking you sometimes the comparisons between the new provisions and old provisions. So, what is your on-site review time period? 6 में अब बताओ 3 1 2 2 1 and 6 and 20. फर्स्ट 4 छोड़ दो 3 1 2 2 अपने को पता है टेलिंग यू इंटीमेटिंग 2 days ACQ and 2 days में DOC. Okay, what is next? 20 total, 7 for the new unit, 6 on site. Can I ask you additional information that you have to provide me within 1 working days? Is it clear? Now what do we do? Do you remember in the approach I told you he will check your engagement letters, then he will ask your PPs, policies and procedure, then he will also check your work, do the combination of compliance and substantive. So what is the first thing he is going to do? What? Compliance review. Which is the first review, everyone? It is not compliance procedure, it is compliance review. What he will review? My general controls. So basically he is doing my TOC now. Like we do at the client's place, TOC, he is doing my TOC, testing of my controls. What are the 5 areas he is going to test? The 5 areas, area number 1, everyone. Independence. What is the first one? How he will come to know that I was independent during my audit engagements? From the engagement letters only. Obviously, you will ask me, I will say, sir, I was independent. Is this an oral evidence? Yes, but they need oral or written. So they will obtain my which letters? Engagement letter. From there only they will understand that I am what? Independent. Because while sending the audit engagement letter, we tell that we are going to follow the code of ethics and ethical requirements issued by ICA. That the same declaration comes in your report as well. So that shows that I was independent during my assurance engagement. What is the second thing they will see? Maintenance of my with skill and what? Standards. So what do you mean by standard? They will check, sir, how many years you are preserving the documentation. I am saying 7 years. That shows I know my 230. Then he said that, sir, directly you accept the appointment letter or you do the audit engagement letter also? He said, yes, we send the audit engagement letter. It means he knows 210. Sir, how do you decide to continue and accept the client relationship? I do it as per 220. What you do when you see the frauds? I do the compliance of 250. How do you communicate the things with the TCW as per 260? What if you find any weaknesses in the internal control system of your client? 265. And what are your responsibilities when you are doing a joint audit with somebody else? I'll comply with 299. How do you evaluate the material misstatement as per 400 and that you don't know now because 400 series was not there. Are you getting the point? That is 450. What is the standard number? 450. So he is basically doing the oral conversation with you. This is chill wala compliance review. Which wala? Initial, little bit, gaining the knowledge. Okay, sir, Tell me your independence. Tell me your, simple things relating to professional skills and standards. Next one, outside consultation. What does that mean? SA 620. What is 620? Using the work of which expert? Auditor. Then there are some areas where I found actuarial ka certificate is there in the documentation. Somewhere I found engineer's certificate. Somewhere I found registered valuer certificate. So I simply asked him, how did you obtain this certificate? He said that yes, I did the compliance of SA 620. They are my auditors experts. Which expert? अच्छा मेरे को एक question है. Please tell me. If you are using the registered valuer engaged by the management and took that registered valuer's report, what compliance you are doing? 620? Is a registered valuer an expert? Yes. But that registered valuer is hired by you or hired by management? That is 500. Audit evidence. But when you are hiring your own registered valuer, that is 620. Using the auditor's expert. Not expert. Who's expert? Auditor. There comes the 620. If that outside consultation I hired, I used, I reimbursed, so that is 620. If that audit expert services are hired by the management, used by the management, paid by the management, so that is management's expert. It means that is 500 and 505. Did you get an external confirmation? But in my case, 620. That is what they are checking you in outside consultation. And what is the next thing? How do you recruit your staffs? What do you see in them? Do you supervise them? And what is the last word? Are you giving adequate trainings to let them go to attend the CPE hours? You all know CPE? But anybody knows full form? It is called continuing professional education. What is the full form of CPE? Even after getting qualified also, they want to educate you as a professional so that you can educate your what? Staff. So on the basis of staff, what are the three things they are checking? How do I recruit, supervision, and development? And last thing, what he is interested in your office administration, structure, infra, where do you keep the books of accounts, where do you keep your registers, where do you keep the documentation, almiras, locking device, internet connectivity, overall office administration. So what are the major general 5 things he's first checking on the first visit to my on-site review? 5 things. First of all, he's checking my independence. Second, he's checking my professional skills and standards ka compliance. Third, did I take any outside consultation? Then he checking staff recruitment, staff supervision, and staff development, and then office administration. But this is not yet compliance procedure. It is just a compliance review. Okay, now selection of assurance services or insurance engagements for the review. Read this point. The number of assurance services engagement to be reviewed shall be depend upon. Do you remember ACQ? What did I tell you? What do we send in ACQ? I told you practically what are the information. Fees is charged, number of partners, number of my branches, number of my clients, whom I served assurance, whom I served attestation, fees charged, GST paid. This is your information which you are giving to whom? PRB. And one copy is also given to whom? On the basis of that only he selects your assurance engagements. So basically ACQ mein which information we give? This is the information we give. What is the information number 1? SQC is generally prevailing. Which SQCs I am following? Am I getting reviewed by ECQR? Do you remember morning I told you? You can't say that you are providing good QCPPs unless you get a certificate from ECQR as per SA 220. What is ECQR? Engagement Quality Control Reviewer. What is the full form? That shows that you are following SQCs or not. Standards on quality control. Second thing, the size and the nature of what? Assurance engagements undertaken by the which unit? Practicing. This is all you are giving in ACQ. What is the third? Methodology generally adopted by what? PU in providing what? What are my APs, what are my ATs, and what are my AEs? Audit procedures, audit techniques, and audit evidences I collected. That shows my what? This thing. What is the third? methodology. So tell me, what are the three things he's going to come to know from my ACQ? SQCs are prevailing or not. Second, size or the nature of the assurance services I'm providing. Next one, my methodologies which I adopted. Am I correct? Next one, my number of partners, number of members in assurance services engagement in PU, the number of what? Locations and branches of my PU. Because if my number of branches are more and there are branches are also bigger in size, so you need to hire a branch peer reviewer as well. Who is a branch peer reviewer? Who goes and does the review of the branch of a practicing unit and how much I am charging, what fees, how much I receive and what I am GST paid by PU. ये आपका base है. This is the base information which who got? Peer reviewer to select your what? Assurance engagement. So what are the 6 bases of selection? SQC is prevailing in my form. Size and nature of the engagements I am delivering. My methodology, number of partners, number of members, locations and branches, fees I am charging, how much I am receiving and how much I am paying in the form of what? GST. तो ये होता है, this is the major information on the basis. अच्छा, please tell me, this तो you told in ACQ, but can he increase the size after coming the on-site review? So what is the point number 1? Read this point. From initial sample selected at which stage? Planning stage. Reviewer in consult. Achha, that also you are going to consult with what? Peer review board and may reduce or what? Enlarge your what? Sample size of what? Assurance services engagement for review. So simply you tell, because you have sent form number 5 to peer review board also. So peer review board also should know na. Okay, suppose you in the sample you send 15 items. Okay, I am going to PU, I will do this 15 items ka review. But now 15 became 21. 6 you added. But who does not know? So intimate to the peer review board कि now I am in onset review and initial planning sample and onset review planning sample is changing. I added 6 more things or deleted 1 or 2 things which I have thought irrelevant. So it means basically your sample size should be continuous and flexible in nature. What are the 2 things? Continuous. It keeps on changing and you may be flexible means what? You may add some things, you may drop some things. That is purely dependent upon whose judgment? Peer reviews. Did you get the point? Now please tell me what happened in on-site review execution stage. The moment you entered. The moment I entered, I did the compliance review. Which review? In the compliance review, I checked your general controls. Which controls? On 5 areas. Controls on your independence, controls on your skills and standard compliance, office administration, outside consultation, staff development, recruitment and supervision. Then what did I do? Then I observed your ACQ on the basis of which I selected a sample. What are the 5 bases on the basis of which I selected your sample? Point number 1, SQC is prevailing, nature and size of the engagements you are offering. Next, my methodologies, number of branches, number of location, number of partners, fee charged, fee received, GST paid. And can I increase or decrease my sample? But whatever you do, please intimate to whom? Peer review board. Yeah, I have increased my sample or decreased my sample. Clear hai? Yahan tak koi problem nahi hai. Okay. Now, next topic. Now, we have done compliance review. Now, it's time to do compliance procedures. Now, what do you mean by compliance procedures? To check the controls, the audit is performed as per PET standards. How he will check? My audit is done as per PET standard. Read the point number 1. Following areas are to be considered by the peer reviewer. Area number 1. Assurance services records for what? Administration. What do you mean by that? Read the point and tell me the meaning. Assurance services what? Records for what? For how long we have to preserve? 7 years. He may check my almiras. He may check my records. Properly preserved or not, because it is whose property? Auditor's property. Is he the absolute owner? Who has to maintain confidentiality? Auditor. Proper filing, assembling, who has to do? So he's basically checking my records being properly maintained in the office or not. What is the second thing he's doing? Reviewing and evaluation. My system of what? What does that mean? What do you do when you go to the client's place? Do you also do review and TOC or not? Basically, say for example, if you're going to do a bank audit, do you expect that the bank should have installed cameras? Non-working or working? What does that show? Operational effectiveness of controls? He's also seeing the same thing. Are the staff reporting to me or not? At what intervals they are reporting to me? How I discuss my strategy and planning with them? Do I make them part of my engagement team when the whole team is making a planning or not? All that shows review and evaluation of what? Internal controls. Next point. What is the next thing? Wherever the areas of suspicion are there, who will get suspicion? Peer reviewer. He will become more in-depth examination he will do. When he selects those areas for the in-depth examination, they are known as substantive test. Which test? Say for example, he found some difficulty in my sample sizes. So he thought that my sample sizes are not appropriate. So he will carry out the what? Substantive test. Now question is what he will do. He will understand the whole situation and he will apply his own professional judgment. What sample size I could have selected if I would have been at Rohit's place. Am I correct? If his sample size expectation is meeting with mine, so then I am true. Otherwise, there is some deficiency. That is called which test? Substantive test. Tell me the three things he did. Now, is he doing compliance procedure or compliance review? Compliance review is already over. Now he is doing what? Combination of compliance and substantive. That is going on. After this, substantive will come. What is checking my first thing? Assurance engagement records for administration. Second thing, internal control system ka evaluation. And third thing, fourth thing, financial statements, presentations and what? But you don't present, you don't prepare. What is this point then? But is it prepared by the management or not? And when the management prepares it, what do you take? WRL from the management. What is written in the WRL? We take the full responsibility for the preparation and presentation of what? Financial. That indicates that you know the compliance of your 580. करेक्ट है बेसिकली वो चेक क्या कर रहे हैं पेट ही तो चेक कर रहे हैं व्हाट आर द पेट प्रोफेशनल एथिकल टेक्निक तो ऑन एवरी स्टेप दे आर एक्सपेक्टिंग यू शुड हैव डन if you did it fine not done it deficiency simple fourth things you understood what is the fifth thing they are checking means they are basically checking my SAAE on the basis of which I drawn what conclusions acha please tell me when do you give qualified or adverse when there is a sufficient and appropriate audit and when you are unable to get any sufficient and appropriate तो वही तो वो देख रहा हूं कि आई गेव अ डिस्क्लेमर इट मींस व्हाट एविडेंसेस यू आर अनेबल टू कलेक्ट दैट इज व्हाट दे आर चेकिंग okay you are giving adverse what evidences you collect on the basis of which you are saying that adverse remarks so basically he is checking my conclusion process which process कि how do I express my opinion crystal clear tell me the 5 examples assurance services records for administration evaluation and testing of my internal control system एक सेकंड एक सेकंड एक सेकंड एक सेकंड that is ridiculous this used to happen during that classes also Ramos's class happened huh? Happened during that time as well last few days so it means it's a recent problem where is that admin hello please ask him now to come ah came here it came Acha, when he comes, it comes. Oh, what is the problem, sir? Okay, perfectly fine, na. Useless fellow. Seriously, a process of agitation. Thank you for coming. Okay. Now, okay, fair enough. So we were on assurance services conclusion. And what is the last one? दोनों में difference बताना. अच्छा, what is the name of SS 700? Forming an opinion. It means he's testing that forming an opinion in point number 5. Right? And reporting on financial. 700 ka another name is also reporting, forming an opinion and reporting on. He's checking your reporting process in what? Acha, tell me what he will check in your reporting. Can you please tell me the format of reporting? How do we report? Title, addressee. Acha, leave everything. In signature, what do you enter? In signature, what do you enter? Your firm's name, firm registration number, signature, designation of the partner, name of the partner, membership number of the signing partner, and UDIN. Unique document identification number. Is it clear? In opinion paragraph, what do you write? Opinion. बहुत simple question है. So opinion to means either true and fair or not true and fair. But why there are pedda two paras in that paper? In the opinion paragraph, you mention 5 things other than opinion. Name of your client. What is the first one? Period of your audit. Am I correct? Name of the financial statements you have audited and declaration that we have audited with explanatory information. This comes in which paragraph? Opinion. What comes in basis paragraph? Basis. Basis paragraph means basis on the basis of which you have expressed your word. But in that also you have to give the 4 declaration. We have done our audit as per essays. What is essays? I have obtained SAAE. Declaration number 2. Boss, you are interested in my auditor's responsibility. There is a separate paragraph given below. And 4th point. I have followed ethical requirements and code of ethics issued by whom? I say. He's checking that whether that is coming in your auditor's report or not. Or simply you are simple write basis 2 lines and CAM paragraph 2 lines, EMP paragraph 2 lines and you are giving a report. It means you are not doing the compliance of 700 series. What is 700 series? 700 series. Reporting and conclusion series. What do we call it as? The last 2 points are dedicated to your 700 series. So basically, please tell me what he is doing the compliance procedure on me to check my compliance of PET. Point number 1, assurance, services, records. Step number 2, adequacy and evaluation of my ICS, internal control system. Point number 3, substantive test in whatever the areas he is looking for. 4th, presentation of financial statements, whether I received the WRLs or not. Next one, assurance services का conclusion, assurance services का reporting. तो ये तो हो गया compliance. So far still he was doing TOC only. Now he will do the which approach? Substantive. Substantive approach means he will directly ask me to give my what? Work papers so that he can check the work done is as per PET standards or not. Are you getting the point? But is he allowed to take extracts? वो हमने कर लिया ना ऑलरेडी ऑब्लिगेशंस ऑफ रिव्यूअर में. इज ही अलाउड टू टेक? व्हाट इफ इट इज इन नॉन लेजिबल फॉर्म्स? व्हाट इज माय ऑब्लिगेशन? ट्रांसलेट इनटू व्हिच लैंग्वेज? एंड डू आई हैव टू सर्टिफाई दैट कि आई गिव द 100% एक्यूरेसी एंड अकाउंटेबल इफ एनीथिंग इज रॉन्ग? So tell me my 4 obligations as a PU. Should I give him info, access, assistance? ये याद रहना word. Info, access, assistance, and conversion, translation. Am I correct? What is his obligation? What is his obligation? Can he take extracts, copies? Does he have to maintain confidentiality? Yes or no? But my question is, can he put identification marks on my audit working papers? like we put on client's audit, client's papers? Yes or no? There's no harm in putting the identification marks, tick mark, na? Right now, audit ka full form kya hai? All you do is tick only. Not mine, not mine. Copied from somebody. So I don't take the CC credit of somebody. So all you do is what tick. So can he also tick mark my things or not? Simple. Now, this is how you complete the peer review of a normal entity. Now, who will tell me right from the beginning to end process? I know some of you are eagerly waiting for your turn to come. So I'm giving you the opportunity right now. Sab we were not. Sorry. Sir, आप बताओगे अभी? You. Light blue shirt, sir. Tell me. Try to. No problem. Starting. How it started. I want to get it voluntarily. Can I go for that? I want to get it voluntarily reviewed. Can I go for that? ये 2.5 page you have to tell me now. But it's okay. Point number 1. You will make an ACQ in form number. To whom? Okay. Next. Peer review board selected you. Will ask the information in ACQ1. Third. Application number should be serially numbered. Done. Third. Peer review board is giving you the 3 names of reviewer within 3 working days, which you have to select the one and intimate to the peer review board within 1 working day. Then the selected peer reviewer will be intimated by peer review board, and that peer reviewer must sign the document of confidentiality with the practicing unit within the same 2 working days only. Practicing unit has to deliver 1 copy of ACU key in form number 1 to the peer reviewer. Right? So this was our 8 points. What was form number 1? What was form number 2? Time period 3122. We are done. After that, so once he has given you the declaration of what? Confidentiality. Definitely he'll expect a acknowledgement. Am I correct? After that, he will send you the proposed timings and proposed sample size in form number 5. 1 copy to PU, 1 copy to PRB. Am I correct? Can I ask additional information from you? Form number 6. Are you getting the point? Then, within 1 working day. Then you may plan the on-site review by mutually consenting with whom? Practicing unit. Am I correct or not? And make sure that your total review must be completed within 20 working days. And in case of new unit, within 7 working days. So now we know up to this. Okay, fair enough. Now what you are right now on-site review. What you are doing? First of all, I'm checking your compliance reviews and make sure that on-site review must be completed within 6 working days. So what I'm doing in that case? I'm checking your independence. I'm checking your office administration. I'm checking your staff supervision, development and trainings. I'm also checking your what? Professional skills and standards. And I'm checking your outside consulting. Is it compliance procedure or compliance review? General controls ka review ho raha hai. Okay. Then how did he select the sample which he sent to me? On the basis of 5 areas. My number of branches and number of location. My number of members and number of partners. Then fees charged, received, GST paid. SQC is prevailing or not. Then engagements, assurance engagement served based on the nature and size of my clients. Next one. Methodologies. These are the 5 bases on the basis of which he selected a sample. Can he increase or decrease? Okay, by consulting with me. Consulting with me only, but sending the revised sample size to whom? Board. Am I correct? Now he completed the compliance review. Now he is doing actually the compliance procedure on my PET standards. What are the 6 things he checked? First thing he checked is my assurance engagement records for administration. Second thing, he checked my adequacy and evaluation of my internal control system. Third thing, he did the substantive test. Fourth thing, he checked my financial statement presentation and framework knowledge. Did I collect WRL or not? Next point, assurance services ka conclusion, assurance services. And later on, if he found time, then he did my documentation के ऊपर substantive test कि am I preparing it as per the PET standards or not. 100% clarity. Either it is new unit or it is a old unit. You know now how to do the which review? Peer review. Right? Now, next point. Procedure for a peer review of a which unit? New unit. What is the procedure? Read. Simple procedure. A peer review of the new unit is to be conducted based upon what? Antecedents of what? And announced by for conduct of. ये क्या word लिखा हुआ है? What is this word? Antecedents of partners. So you should know na, because new unit to is in existence for less than how many months? 12 months. May or may not provide the which services. So what you are going to check in the peer review of new unit, that is what they are telling you. That will be based upon what? Antecedents of what? Partners. Antecedents मतलब होता है previous experience of the partners. They made a firm new, but they may not be new. Am I correct or not? And what? Policy parameters which you have declared when you did the which functions? Attest functions. What are your policies? Like say for example, मेरी policy क्या है? Whenever I give any scholarship form for some student, you know na, in the articleship you get scholarship. So many income approvals के pending applications come. So what do I tell them? I simply tell them कि भाई bring me your mother's and father's income certificate which is declared by GHMC, which is declared by the municipal corporation. So they bring me the original copy. In front of me, they take the Xerox. I take the signature, do mine and keep it as a record. After that, I put my word stamp and upload and paste it on my SSP portal. Am I correct or not? So that is my policy procedures. Matlab, I don't want ki ICA should raise a finger on me saying that ki why you didn't collect the evidence. Maybe he might have made it, what to say, in a fraudulent way. Am I correct? To just get your approval. Later on, professional ethics make guilty of professional misconduct. So I will be na. So you have to be more careful. So that is called attestation QCPCs. Quality control policies and procedure. So these are the various two bases on the basis of which they will select you as a new unit to conduct a peer review on you. Tell me the time period. 7 working days from starting till ending, because they have a lot to examine, a very few to examine. So 7 days are more than enough from selection till conclusion. And what is the next point? Reviewer has to verify the same from what? ACQ submitted by PU in form number 1 as well as on-site visit to what? PU. But there is no clarity on on-site visit ka time period. We have a clarity on other than new unit, 6 working days. But there is no working days stated here. Next point. Reviewer shall thereafter submit a report to whom? Board in the format as prescribed by the board. Is it clear? यहाँ तक समझ में आ गया? And reporting by the peer reviewer, that will do little bit late because you have a lot to write now. Correct है नहीं है? Okay, start writing. What was the last topic we wrote yesterday? And we started with the approach today. We started with the approach today. No, kya? Yes. Up to yesterday, qualified assistant we have written, na. That was last topic, na. So we started with that approach. That I revised. Started with revision. But I'm saying the main topic what we started is approach. Put the heading. Approach of peer reviewer. Now, before doing anything, first you tell me the 5 things what he does. How he approaches, not on-set, approach. Would you like to take your engagement letters first? Point number 2. Number of assurance engagements he will select. Okay, what is the third thing? Will he check that whether I have PPs or not? What is PP? And he will check my compliance. Fourth, He will do the combination of what? Compliance procedures and substantive. What is the fifth approach? Now he will come to my unit. He will check my documentation and will check my significant findings and significant decisions and how I observed them, considered them and rectified them, and with the help of proper documentation. And he will also check my evidences on the basis of which I drawn my what? Conclusion. You forgot, I did not. I knew that looking at your face, you already forgot that. What is approach? Approach. Because moment, we move towards one topic to another, previous one is gone. It's like FIFO. First in, first out. First in, first out. Only the last one retains in your head. Are you getting the point? Start writing. Approach. अरे मेरे को भी तो लिखना है. Yes. Start writing approach. Where is my peer review? Here. Okay. Approach of peer review. जल्दी से लिख लो. I'll be fast, you will not be. ठीक है? So point number 1. Peer reviewer shall obtain engagement letters to understand assurance engagements services provided. Assurance engagement services provided. तो इसमें main word is this engagement letter. Right? First one is engagement letter. Then what he will do? अब बताओ, what is the second point? Selects sample of number of assurance services going to come under review. Then third step. Yes. Gets info on policies and procedures of practicing unit and ensure its compliance. And ensure its compliance. What is the fourth step, everyone? Apply combination of compliance procedures and substantive procedures. Apply the combination of compliance procedure and substantive. And the next one, fifth one, please. Now, in the fifth one, he will check three things. So, he will observe my documentation basically. Observe documentation to check my significant findings. In the significant findings also is checking how I considered them and how I resolved. And then he will check my significant decisions taken, and then he will check my evidences for conclusions. Fair enough? So he'll check my three things: significant findings, significant decisions, and significant evidences which is collected for the purpose of conclusions. Correct? Again telling you, this is not something is the part of process. It is something they are saying ki it is his approach. What does he do? Like overall, we are telling what a peer reviewer does. That is what he does. If they will ask you in detail, then you will write the procedure. He will send a letter, this and that. This is overall aerial view of the peer review. Is it clear? Right? This topic yesterday I already told you about the applicability. Right or not? We did the 4 dates. What are the 4 dates? Remember? 22, 23, 25 onwards almost. All forms will be covered. That's what we have wrote already yesterday, right? And now what was that? Obligation of whom and whom? Obligation of peer reviewer and obligations of practicing unit. Obligations of the peer reviewer and obligations of practicing unit. Please tell me now. First, peer reviewer. Can I take extracts or can't take extra? Can't take copies or extracts of working papers of PU. But can I put identification marks? Can place identification marks. Okay, what is my second obligation? Do I have to sign DOC? With whom and with whom? Peer review board every time or once? With the PU? Every time. To sign declaration of confidentiality. In form number भी बता दो. With PU. Right? These are my 2 obligations. Okay, what are the obligations of PU? 4 words. To give access over records held at PU. The first word is access. To provide information and explanation to PR. Third, to give full assistance by you or by your staff as well. All. So we cover total PU in that. And what is the last one? If info is not in legible form, what you need to do? Translate into English or Hindi and get accountable for its accuracy and fairness, right? अच्छी है यार, हैंड राइटिंग इतनी भी बुरी नहीं है ना? मेरे को लग रहा बहुत वर्स है, बट हाँ थोड़े वर्ड्स पढ़ने में दिक्कत होती है बस. Actually, yeah, I was very much right from the day one only when I got my sense. I was a big fan of cursive writing. ऊपर लिखते थे ना A connected with B, C. So since then, and O walls में I have a enemy. Like you can't find the difference in my walls. A E I O U M N U every ऐसा रहेगा M U N U. So it will be U like this only. M is also inside, U is also inside. So it will be like game for you to identify where the M stops, where the U starts. Okay, so obligations also done and approach is also done. What is the next topic? लिखे प्रोसेस फिर पूरा, shall we? बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है. देखो पहले वाला प्रोसेस देखो, used to be. Look at the time periods. Time period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 steps for empanelment only. Look at the time period, 7 days, 7 days. Like that time period used to be there. That was second phase. What was second? Planning. Planning meant information to be furnished, and this is your planning stage. Third stage, execution. The execution same is 100% same. Only the difference is on-site review from 7 working days has been reduced to. So execution में कोई difference नहीं है. And main is what? Reporting. That we have not done yet. So we have done up to what? Execution. So let's write. Please tell me what is the process? Hmm? Acha, you are starting step point number 1. Okay, okay. Man, something you are asking. Peer review का process. Okay. Step number 1. PU may voluntarily apply for peer to PRB in form number 1. What is form number? ACQ. What is ACQ? One time we'll write application come questionnaire. PU may voluntarily apply for PR to PRB in form number 1, and on being selected, what will happen? PRB may ask information via ACQ1 in form 1. And third, application must be serially numbered. Done? Application must be serially numbered. Point 4. PRB intimates 3 names of peer reviewer to whom PU within 3 working days. And PU must intimate to PRB about selection of peer reviewer within how many working day. ठीक है? 6. PRB will intimate to whom? Peer reviewer about his selection. Is there any number of days? Nine. Selection by PU. And 7th one, peer must file what? DOC, declaration of inform number 2. With whom? PU within 2 working days. यहाँ पे you applied voluntarily. Form 1 ACQ1 may ask for information in ACQ1, should be serially numbered, 3 names, 3 working days, about selection in 1 working day, intimates peer reviewer about that, and peer must file the DOC in form number 2 with PU within 2 working days. Okay, next point. Do we have to give copy? Who has to provide copy to whom? PU must give copy of ACQ to whom? Peer reviewer. Okay, within 2 working days. Okay, fair enough. Now, who needs the acknowledgement? Peer reviewer will get acknowledgement for his DOC filed with PU. Okay, now tell me, once you got the acknowledgement, now what you will do? You will who will send to whom? Peer review will send proposed timings and proposed sample in form number 5 to the PU, am I correct? As well as to the board. Then he may ask the which information? Additional. The peer will send proposed timings and proposed samples to PU in form 5 to PU and PRB in form 5, correct? Additional information what you are asking is form number 6. Peer may ask additional info in form 6 from whom? PU, and PU must provide within working. Okay. Now with the mutual consultation, you will plan your what? Onset review. Peer in mutual consent with PU shall decide on-site review and ensure to complete it. Ensure to complete the whole peer review within 20 working days and within 7 working days in case of new unit. Peer in mutual consent with PU shall decide on-site review and ensure to complete the whole peer within 20 working days in normal case and 7 working days in case of new unit. Fair enough? And now, finally, you are on a which review? On-site review, execution stage. On-site review must be completed within 6 working days. Fair? Next one, first one is compliance procedure or compliance review. Compliance review mein what are the 5 things? Independence, office administration, outside consultation, skills and standards, and staff direction, supervision and development. Under that first one, compliance review. What do you mean by compliance review? It's a test of your actual controls or general controls. TOGC. Test of general controls. Okay. Compliance review is over. इसके बाद can you, on what basis you selected your sample? Sample selection on the basis of 5 things. Branches, number of clients, number of partners, members, fees, GST, SQC compliance, assurance engagement depending upon the nature and size of engagement. All these cases, right? Okay. So, sample size and nature selection criteria. हाँ एक सेकेंड अम्मा वो रब कर रहा हूँ एक सॉरी हाँ सॉरी सैम्पल साइज है नेचर सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया अब बताओ भाई tell me the 5 ways on the basis of which your sample size will be selected. Point number 1, SQC compliance. Point number 2, generally accepted methodologies, that is accepted assurance engagement based upon size of the clients. Assurance engagements as per nature and served. Third, methodologies. अच्छा methodologies को if they will ask you to explain it for 2 marks, will you be able to on your own? What do you mean by methodologies of doing the audit? Whenever they will talk about this, remember to explain these 3 things: APs, ATs, AEs. Your audit procedures, audit techniques. Where did you follow inspection, observation? Where did you follow RAPs and FABs? And where did you collect internal, external evidences? That is called your what? Methodology. Given a choice, which one is the better evidence than what? External is always more preferable than what? Internal, because of its reliability, source. Second, given a choice, which one is better technique than what? Inspection plus inquiry or observation plus inquiry? Inspection plus inquiry is better always than what? Observation. So that is called your selection of ATs. Given a choice, you have a choice between TOD and SAPs. Test of details and substantive analytical procedure, and the client's ROMOM was high. You should have client's ROMOM was high. you should have gone for TOD instead of analytical procedures. Client's ROMOM is less, then only you can follow what? Analytical procedures. Right or not? Remember, TOD is always bigger procedure as compared to what? SAPs. SAPs होता क्या है sir? Ratio analysis is called analytical procedure. Am I correct? But doing the testing of assertions, existence, valuation, ownership, that is called TOD, which is more preferable. A ratio or checking the existence on your own. So TOD is always preferable than SAPs. That is what do you mean by your APs? So methodologies of what? Practicing unit. Fourth one. Okay, methodologies we did, assurance engagements we done, SQC compliance we know. What is the fourth one? Number of partners, members, locations and branches of PU, and point number 5, fee charged, received, GST paid, and any other criteria. That's it. And my sample size may increase or after doing the on-site review. And if there is a revision, we have to inform it to PRB. So note, sample selected at planning stage may increase or what? Decrease. Intimate to PRB if any changes. Okay. Now we're left with only two things. What are the two things? Compliance procedure and substantive procedure. Substantive meant your documentation, and compliance meant 6 things. What are the 6 things? Assurance services records. Second, substantive test. Third, evaluation adequacy of ICS. Fourth, your financial statements compilation and preparation. And last one, assurance services conclusion, assurance services reporting. Assurance services record means your evidences. Huh? Huh. But that is not only your working papers relating assurance, it includes total working papers. That is only all the working papers of your assurance services. It includes your attestation, compliances, statute, experts, everything. 100% your documentation. In that, how much were the working papers relating to your assurance services records? Comes under compliance. You won't check where it is written. So won't check. Not in the scope written. Attestation. Attestation itself is assurance only. What assurance I'm giving to the ICA when I'm attesting your income certificate? Yeah, I have checked it. You can give the scholarship. What is that? Assurance only. What is not covered, you should know. But this includes my AFRF papers also, no? My audit engagement letters also, communications, detection of frauds and errors, my planning, strategies, program. That is only relating to conclusion based. That is only relating to services. But file does not only includes your assurance record. No? It includes my planning, strategies, working papers, provisional financials, right or not? Audit engagement letters, management representation letter, communication between the client and the statutory authorities. It's a huge bundle. On that, this much is assurance services I'm checking under compliance. This is huge bundle I'm checking under substantive. This is purely focused on your 230. That is purely focused on your 230 relating to assurance services. So that is why it is normal compliance, but this is little bit substantive, right? Because they are not only checking your assurance services, they're checking the quality as envisaged by, in the definition we have written, PET standards. पेट्स तो सारे आते हैं ना, प्रोफेशनल भी, एथिकल भी, टेक्निकल भी, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स, law related issues, notification, circulars. You had that information or not? Like say for example, this is a new peer review statement. If I will not tell you, will you go by old one? Let's say for example, tomorrow SA 700 gets revised. Am I correct? So will you still do the reporting as per old one or as per new one? That is what your amendments are all about. You are aware of that or not? That all comes under this part. That is only particular relating to assurance. And something which is not written in out of the scope, don't assume that. Attestation mein 9 words are written. You have to remember that. Due diligence, expert witness, and last wala word kya tha? Any other services which is envisaged by council as not an assurance engagement. That you have to see as per the notification ki which are those services which the council is saying no longer a assurance. So don't make assumptions. Just whatever is written is exhaustive list. Due diligence, expert witness, no, na. So why no? Because that is written. If attestation could have been no, they should have mentioned it out of your scope. Simple, right? Okay, everyone noted up to this point? Fair enough. ऐसा करे तो थोड़ा easy हो गया नहीं, जल्दी हो गया नहीं. If I could have told you, dictated, you could answer please slow. Please go. Up to this, everyone done? अभी तो अपना 3 stages are over. Empanelment stage is over. Planning stage is over. Execution stage is over. Now let's proceed with the last stage. Everyone noted now? Okay. The last stage is known as which one? Reporting stage. Now reporting stage में again, देखो, this is all your reporting stage. But बहुत easy है. It might be looking difficult. I'll make you write in a form of chart ना. It will become easier now. देखो पहले मैं तुम्हें overall review दे देता हूँ. What do you mean by reporting stage? Now finally, peer reviewer has done his execution. It's time for him to report it to which board? Peer review board. But remember, peer reviewer will never send the final report to peer review board. Peer review will first make a preliminary peer review report. Which one? First, he will tell it to practicing unit कि these are the deficiencies and inefficiencies in your practicing unit I found. What is your say on that? What you want to respond on that? So I, as a peer reviewer, will prepare the preliminary peer review report and will send it to which unit? Practicing unit under the peer review. I'm asking what is your opinion on these deficiencies which I found. He has to reply me within 2 working days. Within how many days? His reply either will be satisfactory to me or dissatisfactory to me. If the reply of the practicing unit is satisfactory to me, I will convert that preliminary review report to the final review report and send one copy to PU, one copy to PRB by attaching his comments and my adverse remarks with justification. But if the replies given by the practicing unit are dissatisfactory to me, I will issue a qualified peer review report. What is the name? पहले हम इसे modified बोलते थे. Now the name has been changed. The name is called qualified peer review report. मतलब कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, प्रॉब्लम है. One again copy will give it to whom? PU, and one copy to whom? Peer review. Now peer review board has two types. Either it has positive report or it has negative. Positive means no problem. You will get your certificate given by the peer review board. But if it is negative, if it is what? Negative, then in that case, follow on peer review will take place on your practicing unit again within 1 year. Within? And if it is too much serious irregularities, cut down to 6 months. But below 6 months, 6 months gap they have to give. Because you need 6 months to improvise your PU. Clear hai? So generally what is the time period? It can be cut short toward 6 months. If the serious irregularities are there. This is what is reporting process. Easy hai nahi hai? Tell me. Directly final or first preliminary? Who made it? Sent it to whom? To get its what? Reply. Reply is given maybe satisfactory. Satisfactory, then also you have to make a report. Not satisfactory, then also you have to make a report. Satisfactory, unmodified peer review, and not satisfactory, unmodified peer review, and not satisfactory, qualified peer review. But if it is a qualified, you will get follow-on peer review again, which may be conducted within 1 year, cut short to what? 6 months in case of serious irregularity. It is just written in a longer way, but actually it is too small, this process. Uske baad what happens? Then the peer review board secretary comes into picture. Who comes? Actually, he is a person who does all the administration work of peer review board. The peer review board is a king. They are sitting. Actually, who is doing the ground realities, collecting the certificate, making the certificate, bringing it to the notice of peer review board, and then replying back to the peer review. There is one person called peer review board secretary. What is the name? Peer review board secretary. That person newly has been added. They kept one person for that purpose only. Administration clerical works. Basically, not suggestions, only clerical works. Clear? Now read the point number 1 in the reporting. एक second, sorry. Here, yes, reporting. Read the reporting. After completing the on-site review, reviewer shall submit a report along with form number what? 9. If in his opinion, PU has adequate what? Systems and procedures. ये क्या कर रहे हो? क्या हो रहा है? मेरे को भी दो. अच्छा मेरे को चौक यार मेरे को लगा कुछ डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हो. मेरी जाने की खुशी में चॉकलेट मिल रही है. मेरे को भी देना था. नहीं फेयरवेल भी तो होती है अम्मा. इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज जाना. फेयरवेल ऑल्सो. व्हाट इज दैट? अच्छा समझ गया. एग्जाम पेपर. मैं ही एग्जाम पेपर. ओके चलो लेट्स नॉट वेस्ट द टाइम. रीड द स्टेप नंबर 1 प्लीज. आफ्टर completing on-site reviewer shall submit a report to the board along with form number 9. So 1, 2, 5, 6, 9. 1 ACQ, 2 DOC, 3 not there, 4 not there, 5 proposed sample or revision in the proposed sample, 6. Then what is 9? Right down 7 and 8 I think they have eaten again. So 9 is the report. Am I correct? If in his opinion PU has adequate systems, policies and procedures in compliance with what? TP standard. A copy of report shall also be sent to what? PU. This is the general information they are giving. Now inside that what they do? First he prepares a which report? Preliminary report for what? Deficiencies. In case in his opinion of the reviewer, system and procedure PU are what? Deficient and what? Non-compliant. Or if there are any other matters which he wants to seek a clarification, he shall communicate to whom? PU in a preliminary report issued by him. So not directly the final. First he will make the preliminary report on your deficiencies. Next. PU shall within 2 working days of the date of receipt of this report or findings make his submissions and representations in writing to what? Reviewer. The peer reviewer is asking the practicing unit to report me within 2 days what you have to say on these deficiencies and non-compliances. Now his reply, I told you, either will be satisfied or what? Dissatisfied. Read the point number 3. If the reviewer is what? Satisfied with the reply received from PU, he shall submit the unqualified report to the block along with form number 9. A copy of report shall also be given to whom? PU. But what is the next point I told you? What if it is dissatisfied? What he will give? Unqualified or qualified? So in case reviewer is of the opinion that response submitted by the PU is not what? Satisfactory, reviewer shall submit the qualified report to the board incorporating his reasons for the same. We know that whenever you give any negative report, you have to submit the reasons for the same in form number 9. And a copy of again will be given to whom? PU. Report should state that system of quality control for assurance services of PU for the period under the review has been designed to ensure assurance services comply with what? PET standard. This is a report on that ki I went there, I checked their assurance services, and according to me this is not as per the compliance of PET standards. Next one. What you need to attach with this report? What are the things you need to attach with this report? Point number 1. Annexure to report as prescribed by whom? Board. Suppose board has told you something. A peer reviewer, attach this also. Attach this also. So that annexure is requested by board. Second thing, copy of questionnaires as received from PU. ACQ. But sir, ACQ though we have already filed with what? So why board is asking again? Maybe you give the manipulated copy to the peer reviewer when he asks you within 2 days. Am I correct? So for the again confirmation, ki what received copy peer reviewer received from the practicing. Again that ACQ copy. Next one, list of what? Samples selected by him as per what? Criteria. Criteria we already know. Like number of assurance engagement partners and all. Next one, preliminary report if issued along with PU's submission on the same. So basically 5 things we are sending: report plus annexures requested by board plus ACQ form plus samples selected criteria, and last one is what? Comments given by practicing unit to the which one? Peer review. Satisfied or dissatisfied wale comments, that also will attach. These are the 5 things you need to attach with what? Peer review report. Now next point, PU as well as the reviewer shall ensure that all documents submitted to the board are duly dated, signed and what? Complete. In all respect, reviewer and PU shall mutually cooperate and ensure that entire review process must be completed within 20 working days and within 7 working days in case of which unit? Okay, next one. अभी अपना report समझ में आया? Please tell me the concept of report. Form number. Who sends the report to whom? Sends the report to the peer review board. But before making a final report, what is the criteria? Preliminary report on deficiencies will be sent to whom? PU for asking the replies. What do you have to say on your non-compliances and deficiencies? Replies may be satisfactory, may not be satisfactory. Satisfactory है तो unqualified peer review report, dissatisfactory है तो qualified. But if you are sending the qualified peer review report, you have to attach so many things. What are the things? Annexures prescribed by the board, sample size, ACQ and comments received from the PU. Must be completed within 20 days, must be completed within 7 days. Right, and finally peer review sends a final report to the peer review board. Now, review of the board by the peer review secretariat under the supervision and direction of what? Peer review board secretary. अब ये जो बंदा है ना, his work is clerical work. Which work? But you will find his name at so many places. So even though he is not that important person, but he is important from the peer review board point of view. So what is the name of this person? Peer review board secretary. So PR beard secretary ensure that all reports is accompanied by all what documents as per the guidelines. Also ensure that documents are complete in order. So once the report will be received by the peer review board, he will check okay annexures are attached or not, these things are attached or not, clerical work kind of thing. Next point. All reports shall be placed before the board or its what subcommittee for its consideration and issuance of what peer review certificate. In case of qualified report, what did I tell you? Follow on review. What is the time period I told you? 1 year. Can it be cut short down? In case of serious irregularities, it can be cut short down to what? 6 months. If the board secretary shall place the report before the board for supervision. या कंप्यूटर भी बदलो, ये भी बदलो, नहीं तो मेरे को बदल दो. मेरा तो हाथ भी नहीं टच हो रहा. हाँ बताओ. यू स्टे हियर ओनली. फिर से बताओ. अब तो टच भी नहीं हुआ. अब तुमने टच किया. अब करो. अरे रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है ये. अब बताओ तुम टच करो. नो ब्रेक्स. Up to one directly. I have to complete peer review board before leaving. हाँ एक सेकेंड अम्मा. अच्छा हाँ unproductive work is there. No, you can ask. Tell me. English में बोलो. Everyone should know. We would not like to have that much of patience to understand whether you have done the improvements or not. So we are just giving, huh? Friend once. You took it very seriously. I never said he's your friend, philosopher, or guide. Why? Why? Less irregularities means what? What do you mean by less irregular? I'm not saying less. I'm saying serious, non-serious. एक second, Amma. You are having serious issues with your firm. You are having what? Serious issues with your firm. Do you think that a peer review board will allow you to practice during that time also? Should I give you 1 year to practice as a person with a serious irregularity so that you can make your client serious? And then, huh? It's not about you, na. It's about the quality of assurance services you're providing. If I'll give you 1 year gap, you will serve so many clients during that 1 year. If I'll give you 1 year's gap, Amma, try to understand how many clients you will serve during 1 year. So many clients, but with the same inefficiencies or not? Are you doing injustice with those clients or not? That's why I would like to know that as soon as possible, are you giving me any signs of improvement or not? That's a 1 year has been reduced to what? 6 months. Did you get the point or not? I don't allow you to serve your client during that time period, na? Because you are serving the client with compliance of PET or without compliance of PET. So should I wait for more time period or less time period? I'll immediately conduct your peer review within seconds. You just show me a sign of improvement. I'm ready to allow you to continue. But you are not showing sign of improvement in 6 months. What is the guarantee that you will show it in 1 year? That's the main thing, right? Finally gone. Nee, projector came, but where is the projection? Either there's a problem with this HDMI. Where it is this is connected here now. There was no problem in the first 3 days. They are saying the same issue came in Ramos's class as well. Last few days. They said no. They're saying. Okay, do one thing. Give me my bag. I have another plug also. Let me try with that. Open it. There is one white plug inside. Between. Hmm. With this plug also not coming, there's a problem with HDMI. Or your capture card is gone. This capture card is there, na? Give me this. You called Anil? Called Anil sir? So since morning it is coming and going, sir. Now it came. Acha, there's a problem with this one. Attach it, there's a double-sided tape में attach it here. Fine, na? Okay. 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 So everyone, you know about the peer review certificate now? Okay. And now this peer review certificate ka who is taking care of clerical work? Peer review board secretary. Am I correct? And we were on the last third point. What is the third point? In case of which report? Qualified report. Board secretary shall place report before the board for what? Consideration. If the board may decide to conduct your what? Follow and review after a period of 1 year from the date of issue of report by the reviewer. But if the board so decides, period of 1 year may be reduced but shall not be less than what? 6 months. So did you get your confirmation, Amma? Hello? Yes or no? What is the reason? Now tell me you. Yes, it will. We don't have to see it from your practicing unit point of view. We have to see it from the client what you are serving. If I'll give you the more time period to serve the client with the non-compliance of pets, it will be not easy for the peer review board to consider. So that's why they cut short your period of 1 year to what? 6 months. So get your follow-on review done. But that too, if the peer review board may decide, right or not? The main point what we understood is follow-on review time period is 1 year, may get cut short to what? 6 months if the need arises, right? Now, next one, issues of the peer review board. Now, peer review board will issue the certificate. Point number 1, read. If it is unqualified report, the peer review board secretary shall place the report before the board or subcommittee consideration and issue a peer review certificate to PU, but only after the peer review confirms the fee received from PU by him. What do you mean by that? Simply just read the first point, please, again. You are giving a which report? Qualified or unqualified? Matlab positive or negative? Positive. What does that say? Peer review board secretary shall place the report before what? Board or its subcommittee for consideration and issuance of what? Peer review certificate. To the which unit? Practicing it. But only after peer reviewer confirms the fee received from PU by him. It means, भैया, the total kharcha, the peer review ka remuneration, everything will be borne by whom? Practicing unit. And moment he will say that yes, I got my dues back, I got it reimbursed, every money is paid, then only peer review certificate will be issued. So what is the precondition for issuing the certificate? Peer reviewer must have received his expenses and dues. Am I correct? Second point, peer review certificate shall be issued to the new unit subject to the procedure followed by the reviewer as per these guidelines and other clauses of these guidelines as the case may be. Certificates so issued by the board or subcommittee shall be notified by the board at its meeting. These are all irrelevant points. You just have to make sure that you understand the relevant point. What should be the pre-necessary point before issuing the peer review certificate? All dues relating to which person? Peer reviewer. Are due or are clarified? Clarified. Next point. Certificate shall be duly signed by the chairman and vice chairman and secretary of what? 3 people will sign. Not or. Chairman, vice chairman, secretary of the board, mentioning the validity period. Peer review board shall serve the peer review certificate upon the PU. Peer review board secretary shall update the list of PUs having the valid peer review certificate, incorporating the names of PU to whom peer review certificates have been issued on ISA. So I told you now his work is basically clerical, checking whether the documents are fully received or not, and updating the list of all PUs who have gone through the which review? Peer review, whether the certificates have been issued to them. All these things he has to update on what? Website. What is the next function? In case it is a which report? Qualified reviewer. Peer review board certificate shall inform the peer review that certificate cannot be issued along with what? Reasons. Acha, please tell me. You have to hang that certificate. Take a logic dekho. You want to hang that certificate if it is unqualified. Because that displays your performance. It amplifies your performance. Would you like to display a qualified certificate? And that too, that mad fellow PU is asking reasons for the same on the certificate. Getting the certificate is one thing, but practicing unit will not be given the reasons of issuing the qualified certificate mentioned on your certificate. So certificate will not include your what? Reasons of the qualified report. So cannot be issued along with what? Reasons as well as due date for conducting a follow-on review as may be decided by. So what 2 things you will not expect on your certificate if it is a qualified certificate? Reasons for qualifications and date of the follow-on review. Are you getting the point? Otherwise no client will come to you. Client will say get your follow-on review done first, then only I'll come. I have the trust issues now. So tell me, what are the 2 reports you understood? It means point number 1 and point number last is only relevant. Remaining are the clerical works of what? Peer review board certificate. Tell me what is we understood in point number 1. In case you are giving unqualified report, it means that does not apply to last point. If the peer reviewer is giving qualified report, you don't have to pay him fees, or you still have to pay. So don't be under the impression that it is written under the unqualified not applies to what? Qualified. That is applying everywhere, either qualified or unqualified. Certificate you will only get when you are done with the dues of whom? Peer reviewer. Am I correct? But only thing which you have to remember in the qualified report is what are the 2 things I will not let you know. Reasons for your qualified report and the date of your follow-on review, because that will be decided by the board to be conducted within 1 year or 9 months or 8 months or 7 months or 5 months, or can be minimum 6 months. You can't reduce below what? 6 months. Is it clear everyone? 6 to 12 months. Next point. What is the validity of your certificate? PU can't continue with the existing certificate whose validity has what? Expired. But if you have the validity, you need not get it reviewed under the new guidelines. What is the second point? All documents signed by the PU during the intervening period, that is expiry of the previous certificate and issuance of the new certificate, will be. What do you mean by that? If you are a mandatory PU on which peer review is mandatory and your old certificate is expired and new certificate is not yet issued, between that time period, whatever the documents you have signed on your assurance services will be declared as null and void. Everything is what? Invalid. Because it means peer review certificate is nowadays your assurance that you are a good practicing unit. So they are declaring that everything is what? Invalid between the expiry and the issuance of new certificate. Next point, read. It is the responsibility of the PU to complete peer review of the firm and submit all the necessary documents at least 1 month before the date of expiry of what? So they are saying that be proactive, don't be reactive. Don't wait for the expiry to come. 1 month before only you only apply कि my peer review certificate. देखो क्या होता है, अब ध्यान से सुनना what I'm saying. There are two types of reviews. Tell me, mandatory, voluntary. My certificate is going to get what? Expired. Now, I as a PU has to inform to the board 1 month before the expiry only कि my certificate is going to be expired. Let me know whether I am going to get reviewed again or not. Say for example, if the peer review board is not selecting you for peer review, and at the same point of time they are saying that the gap may whatever the documents you will sign are what? Invalid. Then that is not the fault of PU, na then. They should tell you are you going to get reviewed or not, or else extend the validity. If I'm going to get reviewed, obviously I'll get the new certificate. But if you're not giving me the bloody new certificate, at least give me what? Extension for my old certificate, so that client's documents which I'm signing under assurance services should not be what? Invalid. Logic you are understanding, na? That's why 1 month before the completion of your previous certificate only you have to intimate to the peer review board ki sir my certificate is going to get what? Expired. What is the next point? Validity of that certificate is what? Certificate issued by to the PU shall be valid for 3 years or such period as may be decided by the board commencing from the date of receipt of peer review report by the board. What do you mean by that? Suppose he has given a fantastic report on you. Qualified or unqualified? Compliance of PET, independent staff, supervision, outside consultation, everything is superb. तो हो सकता है कि next time you may not be what? Selected. So minimum validity is how many years? But maximum can be decided by the board on case to case basis. Did you get the point? And what is the last one? Validity of PR certificate issued to new unit shall be decided by the board. Matlab some new guidelines are going to come, then you will realize the fact new unit ka how much. So far about the new unit, you know only one thing. In how many days? 7. Rest meaning everything we are going to expect for the new guidelines. Am I correct? So should I ask you some questions now? I gave a qualified report. Do I need to clear the dues? I gave an unqualified. Then also I have to clear the dues? Yes. Next point. In case I'm getting a qualified certificate, is it positive or negative? Negative. Will I get reasons of qualification? Will I get date of the follow-on review? What is the actual time of my follow-on review? Can it be reduced? Can it go below 6? 6 what? Months. 3 months not allowed? 7 months? 8, 9, 10, 10 and a half. Everything is what? Allowed. That will be decided by board. What is the validity? Can it be more than 3 years? Will be decided by? Do I have any obligation to pre-inform the board that my certificate is going to be invalid or expired? How many months before? At least 1 month before the completion of your validity. What will happen if I do not? The gap between the expiry and the new, all the documents signed by you will be treated as invalid. 100% went inside your head. Okay, next point. Inherent limitations of what? अच्छा ये बताओ inherent limitation का मतलब क्या होता है? मतलब peer review having some disadvantages which were there, are there, will be there. You can eliminate them. It's like your shadow. You can't eliminate, you can't escape from them. Can you read the limitation number 1 of peer review? The reviewer conducts the review with a statement on he is mechanical in nature. He's a robot. Who? Peer reviewer. Is he allowed to apply his creativity and innovativeness or everything as per the statement? So he is nothing less than a machinery. He is nothing less than a robot. That is a positive or negative. It's like you are making the peer review a monotonous procedure. Which procedure? Monotonous. Monotony will come. I will feel bored. उधर जाना है वही करना है, इधर जाना है वही करना है. It means am I allowed to use my own innovative and creativity? No. So that's the advantage or limitation. Are you understanding from which point of view? Read the second one. Review would not necessarily disclose all weaknesses in compliance of PET standards of quality of assurance services, since it would be based upon which test? I think that is a genuine disadvantage, because the same disadvantage we have in our auditing profession also. Do we do full checking or test checking? Some of the frauds and errors will definitely remain undetected. Same is the case. Is the reviewer doing the full checking or sample checking? So some of my weaknesses may be remaining undetected and remaining undisclosed. So that is not a guarantee again. Like we express an opinion on financials of the client, he is expressing the opinion on the quality assurance services of my PU. Is it clear? Disadvantage number 2. So given a guarantee or not a guarantee? Not a guarantee. What is the third one? As there are inherent limitations in what? Effectiveness of any system of quality control, which happens to be what? Subject matter of review. Departure from system may occur and may not be what? Repeat again and let me know what they are saying. As there are inherent limitations in what? Effectiveness of any system of what? Quality control, which happens to be a subject matter of review. Departure from such system may not occur and may occur but may not be detected. What they are saying that कि भैया no practicing unit is best. There is nothing called best PU. There is called good PUs and better PUs. But there is nothing called what? Best. अब क्योंकि अगर वो बेस्ट होता ना तो पीयर रिव्यू का एक बेंचमार्क होता कि ओके योर स्टैंडर्ड शुड मीच दिस, देन यू विल बी कॉल्ड एज अ व्हाट? बेस्ट. बट देयर इज नो बेस्ट थिंग. दैट इज अगेन अ इनहेरेंट लिमिटेशन, क्योंकि our practicing unit is based upon technology, our practicing unit is based upon staff, and over the period of time things keeps on changing and we have to adopt the new changes. You cannot say that at one point of time you are best now. Like, let me ask you one thing, frankly speaking, 10 years back when I joined my when I joined my practicing firm with my firm, the partners, that point of time it was 100% manual audits we used to do. Which audits? Automated audits. In the last 4 to 5 years we have started doing it with the use of card techniques, with the use of UPIs, with after demonetization. Are you getting the point? Then I realized कि okay, cart which I learnt in 2012 is actually this. That time though it was just a word, computer assisted audit technique. Now I know the software tools which I'm using. So you get, okay, this is my generation now. So by the time you will get qualified, maybe in the coming 6 months, 1 year, you will get qualified. Definitely your tools will be better than us. And let's imagine the next 10 years. Their updations will be different. So you cannot call that ki there is one best practicing unit criteria. That is again an inherent limitation of our what? Peer review. Today it might be looking best, but tomorrow after 5 years when the new review will happen, they will say it is old. Again after 5 years they will say it is old. Again after, क्योंकि there also standards will what? That's why it is getting revised on daily basis. Peer review statements. What are the 3 disadvantages of peer review? It makes you mechanical. You have to do everything as per the statement of peer review. You can't use your initiative, innovative and inventive skills. Next one. Due to sample checking, some of the weaknesses in your control systems will remain what? Undetected. And there's nothing called best internal control system, due to which it is an inherent limitation. Ki you have to keep on what? Improvising. That's it. And what is the last topic? Difference between peer review and quality. You tell me the 3 differences. I think I already told you this in the beginning only. Peer review is under which board? Peer review board. There. Under whom? I say. Under whom? Here the focus is on your quality of which services? To be envisaged as per the which standards? PET standard. But there the focus is on statutory audit. Which audit? Statutory. Did you understand the point? So what are the 4 topics we are left with? We are left with difference, inherent limitation, validity, issuance, and power of the peer review board, right? And reporting. Start writing. लिखो लिखो लिखो, उसके बाद विल सी. ब्रेक चाहिए? श्योर? कम बैक बाय 12, जल्दी जाओ। 10 मिनट का 10 है क्या, 5 है? हाँ तो तुमने भी 5 ही पूछे थे। हाँ तो मैं भी 5 ही दे रहा हूँ। अरे यार, हाँ आ गया, डोंट वरी, डोंट वेस्ट योर सलाइवा। हाँ चलो, पुट द हेडिंग एवरीवन, एग्जीक्यूशन वी आर डन, नाउ द रिपोर्टिंग स्टेज। Peer reviewer, before finalizing the peer review report for peer review board, he or she first prepares preliminary report on deficiencies. This preliminary report shall be forwarded to practicing unit to get its comment. Sir, at least if you don't want to note down, don't talk please. क्योंकि मेरे को तो प्रोसेस करना पड़ता है ना what I have to write. So little bit of silence is appreciated. So this preliminary report should be forwarded to PU to get its comments on those deficiencies and incompetencies with respect to PET. With respect to PET standards compliance. This is called listening skills. This is called listening skills. Didn't listen when I was saying. Comments on those deficiencies and incompetencies with respect to PET standards compliance. Right? Now, there will be two possibilities. What are the two possibilities, everyone? If reply or comments given by PU are satisfactory, if dissatisfactory. Satisfactory or dissatisfactory. What you will do if it is satisfactory? PR shall issue unqualified PR report. And here shall issue qualified PR report. One copy to each. One copy for PRB. One copy for PU. And here also one copy for PRB and one copy for PU. With following attachments. What are the attachments you have to attach? Annexures required by board. Reasons of qualifications. Reasons of qualified report. And comments and replies given by PU and ACQ provided to PU to PR by PU, and criteria of selection of samples, right? These are the following attachments you need to do along with this report. So we covered this point, this point. Okay. Then noted everyone up to attachments. Now role of which person? The secretarial person. What is his name? Peer review board secretary. So you will simply write his role is clerical in nature. Ensures that reports are accompanied with attachments. Reports are accompanied with attachments. Next, to be placed before PRB and committees. Ensure issuance of peer review certificate and in case of qualified report, board may consider to do follow on review within, what is the normal time period? Within 1 year, which may get reduced, may get reduced to 6 months, may get reduced to 6 months from issue of peer review report. Do you have to preserve the documentation as a peer reviewer? Till how many months? 18 months. अब एक और peer reviewer must preserve his working papers you stand keep standing only. Peer reviewer must preserve his working papers for at least how many months? 18 months after issue of peer review report. May be asked by peer review board. Okay. Next. Okay, what are the things should be cleared before issuing you the report? Fees. So, second, be it qualified or unqualified peer review report, consideration or fee of peer reviewer must be paid to him before issuing peer review certificate, PU. Before issuing peer review certificate to PU. Acha, who will sign peer review certificate? That will write in peer review certificate. And what is his another role? He has to update the on the website which PUs have already got reviewed and which are left, or all those clerical works. The last one is PRB secretary update website with respect to list of PUs having valid PR certificate and peer review is completed for PUs. Fourth, peer review certificate. Who are the three people who sign? To be signed by chairman, vice chairman, and secretary of the board. And can you give the reasons in case you're issuing qualified and not even the date of follow on? Fifth one, no reasons for qualified peer review report, no mentioning of follow on review date in case of qualified report. So no reasons for qualified peer review report and no mentioning of the follow on review date in case of qualified report, right? Validity of PR certificate. If expired You can't continue with expired PR certificate. Second, any docs issued or signed between expired date and issuance of new certificate will be valid or null and void? Will be invalid. Any documents issued signed between expired date and issuance of new certificate will be invalid. And third, what is the validity generally? 3 years, but it can be extended on case to case basis by the board. Validity generally 3 years or the period as decided by board. And within how many months before you have to intimate that you are due for new peer review? 1 month. 1 month before expiry of peer review certificate, intimate to PRB with documentation and necessary information by PU. Validity in case of new units to be decided by board. Form number 9 was what? We didn't write na form number. That is report na. ये तो भूल ही गए थे. And this is form number 8 for the extension of validity. Form number 8. Tell me your 3 limitations of peer review. Makes it mechanical as per the statement, sampling due to which all weaknesses will not be reported. And there is no criteria of calling any practicing unit as best, because QCPPs are something which keeps on updating or changing. So, inherent limitations of peer review. Only to be carried out as per statement of peer review. Makes it mechanical. taken due to sampling or test checks. All weaknesses will not be reported. And third, there is no criteria for a best QCPPs as it keeps on changing and updated. Done? There's no criteria for the best QCPPs as it keeps on changing and updated. Fair enough. I think, tell me all the forms we covered. 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. So which are not there? 7, 8 is not there. Sorry, 7 is not there. 3, 4 is not there. होंगे, but we don't know. Right? Okay. So difference between quality review and peer review anyways is going to be the part of your quality review chapter that we have. Now, if you have noted, then I have to check some additional topics if we had in the earlier topic. Maybe that might not be notified under the amendment, so we'll check it. Everyone done with the writing? Still writing? Done? Still writing? Done, Uma? Okay. मैं पहले चेक कर लेता हूँ. Obligations we have written ना. Approach also we noted. Confidentiality, yes. Yes. Acha, they may ask you one particular question on the basis of what? Confidentiality, where in the peer review it is required to be maintained by whom at one place. It means what I'm trying to tell you is that we have learned this word confidentiality at so many places. Tell me the places where first we learned. When we are going to be qualified as a peer review, what was that thing I told you that time? You have to file it 2 times. With whom and with whom? Board as well as what? Peer review board. So they may ask you simple. Confidentiality is the prime thing which is to be considered while doing the peer review. What are the places where it is like, or tell all the places at one place where it is required to be filed by whom and who has to maintain it. So this is the kind of question they may ask you. Read the point number 1. Shall be observed by which people? Acha, why members of peer review board have to obtain the confidentiality? What is the reason? They are not signing anything. Yes, you sign once you become the member of PRB. Not mentioned over there because are they getting the information relating to your clients? So they also are expected to maintain what? Confidentially. Who next? Reviewers that we already know. Who is the next person? And what is the next one? They are maintaining relating to their client. So who are the 4 people? Peer review board members, peer reviewers, qualified assistants, and practicing. Next one, responsibility of secrecy shall maintain at all the time. So does that matter only during the review or post review also? But say for example, you are under a statutory obligation or you have taken the consent. Then you can or you can't? You can. Like we can as per SA 230, they are also can as per their requirement. Next one, reviewer shall not use or disclose, report or any confidential information unless required by whom? PRB or council. Next one, declaration by all the members of PRB shall sign it. PR also shall sign it. QA shall also sign it and file it with what? PRB. This is, I mean, everything about the confidentiality at one place also. That is a kind of 4 mark question they may ask you, right or not? So at that point of time, it will be sometimes difficult for us to, because you have to process the whole chapter then. Okay, where it was required, it will unnecessarily consume your time. So we have at one place. So what is the next one? Compliant shall amount to professional misconduct under section 22 of C Act 1949. You know what they are saying? You don't misuse that information also. Say for example, some secretive information relating to a practicing unit which was too much secretive, and you know that. You say you are trying to put a undue influence. I'll give you modified certificate if you will not share the consideration which you got at that point of time by helping your what? Client. So are you making a use of it or misuse of it? Should not do it. Am I correct or not? Make a note of last topic and then पहले लिखो तो सही. When did we start this chapter? Yesterday? Evening session, night session or after? अच्छा, afternoon वाला session 2:30 वाले में. Okay. Took more. Careful, Amma. Took more than. There was new things. Okay. This 22 section we will get to know when we'll do professional ethics. Like I told you, 8 and 21 in case of qualified assistants, right? Same. The list of sections may it will come. Thank you. Okay, everyone noted. Shall we start with a new topic? हाँ, आप तो बोलोगे ही, पता ही है कि you know that half-hearted, क्योंकि there will be a huge gap between that and that, and again I have to invest that half an hour again. So it's better that we should, क्योंकि topic is over. Half an hour में what should I tell? Standard, motivation, motivation. So say motivation, motivation. चलो noted. Peer review में मजा आया chapter में. 100% sorted है. So we almost have consumed 36 to 37 hours so far in our 5 days of the span. Average 8 to 9 hours a daily basis. So I hope you understood the criteria now. Ki what will be our approach in the remaining subject. Wanted to make you taste that chapter before leaving for a break. Like this is how your further new chapter where you need to indulge more because these things are new for you. Are you getting the point? Till the company audit, you guys were comfortable. The reason being very simple. Because you knew that. Now also I hope I made you guys comfortable. Understood each and every sorted way में with reasoning and logical reasoning. ठीक है? तो thank you so much everyone for today's session. I'll